Live. I stream. I stream live on Facebook.
Oh, okay,
as well as our cameras in the corner.
We're streaming on YouTube as of right now.
I say we're streaming on YouTube as of right now. Pretty sad.
Yeah.
Jeff just stops using the bad words
Delicious.
I should have asked Jimmy where my horn was, man.
Yeah, now you're full.
We got our sensor horn when we cuss. We beep, honk honk. You know.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
All I got is this doorbell that's
Hilarious.
fading away.
Because she beat us to the studio.
Yeah, I was here first.
Yeah, she beat me here. I didn't even have time to come in and take out the trash, and she was already here.
I can't ring the ding dong, man.
In Hollywood, if you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
Exactly. And she was waiting patiently in the wrong door.
Thank you.
But it's so acceptable.
They already had that Albanian kid on The Simpsons, right? That one episode.
Oh,
The exchange student. Oh crap!
Crap.
It's 2 after. My headphones.
Let's start. Let's get this thing going. Let me give you a countdown.
Started.
Give me 1 minute, my coffee's ready.
Man's got to have his coffee. I sympathize.
Okay, let's count down here. We have about, we're going to have about we're playing the Bastards right now, which is a great band out of England. My friend's in that band, and the Bastards are a great band if you like punk rock. They're fast, furious, but very friendly.
I still have no idea what you're talking about because you're just talking and I can't hear it.
The best. Why can't you hear me?
Blah 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 blah. I could hear you. I can't hear the music.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're gonna really big sure. It's time to get a sure.
Our guest for some reason sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher.
But we're gonna fade out the Bastards. Sorry, Albert. Albert, who's my friend, who is the guitarist in the Bastards and the singer. We're going to fade you out, and we're going to start the show.
If only we had an executive producer. I shouldn't say that. He brought in the fruit platter and Seattle's best coffee. I come from a long line of dicks. Good morning, lovely one. Jeff? Oh, I can't drink the water.
Good morning, Rancho Cucamonga.
Center of the GD universe.
Only an hour away from Hollywood. It's the Frosty Jaime and Frank show.
Address your aggrieved letters to Jeffrey Sargent, not his happy, charming co-host, Janky.
Just kidding. We're Roy and Jimmy. No, we're not.
I'm Jimmy. That's Roy.
Yeah, it's a Roy and Jimmy show.
The Roy and Jimmy show coming to you in the morning, Rancho Cucamonga. I'm Jimmy. I'm the brains of the outfit. We met Jimmy. We have to be nice.
Yeah. We found out Roy was just a hand puppet.
Roy is a hand puppet. He turns on a voice modulator. It's kind of cool. Roy Brewster does not exist. Even the name is stupid and fake.
Okay.
It's the Jeff Sargent show. Let me do this all over again. I'm Jeff Sargent, your host, with our co-host, Janky.
Greetings, morning.
Janky!
Oh,
And the man behind the glass.
The man behind the glass. The man who made it all possible. The man who brought the purple platter.
Let me see your other hand.
the
Where's that
man
other
up.
hand at?
He's shooting
Okay,
up.
hands free. Dan behind the glass, executive producer of the
Going
Jeff
all
Sargent
Weinstein in the sound booth over there.
And it's also sponsored. The Jeff Sargent show is sponsored by
Pacific Wine Merchant
and Cigar Exchange. Come smoke a fine Patron cigar.
That's not a metaphor.
Craft beer.
Yum.
Made
And
from local breweries
And
the finest wines and a great atmosphere right there in downtown Upland at the Metrolink.
in spitting distance of your local IHOP.
Put pennies on the railroad tracks and make souvenirs.
Watch the old folks grab their chest because they think it's the big one when the train rolls through.
And since I work in recovery, they also have a great selection of water. They have different flavors.
Carbonated
of
That's
Perrier
all.
and And
That's our executive producer, designated driver Dan Rupp.
And including Perrier. When I want to blow
they
a
have
dollar on
Perrier.
water, I buy Perrier.
Now,
Yes.
yesterday we had Superman Jeff East as our humble in-studio guest. Today we've got the Greek goddess known to men as Mary Dallas.
Mary Dallas.
Not a very Greek name, Mary Dallas. By the way, hold on. I did my practice for the show. Yasus.
Yasus.
Yeah.
Tikanete.
Oh, shucks, baby.
All
Talking
right.
to
Talking to the
band.
rubber band
Talking
there,
to the
girl.
damn mic.
There we go.
Yeah. Put that mic a little bit closer to her. She's not our
There we
turnabout.
We got here. I thought Ferris Bueller's sister was here. I was incredibly charmed.
And don't forget the phone number.
Oh, and if you want
do
to
your
call,
radio
think
voice,
we got
Buzz.
it fixed on
if you want to call in
Do your radio voice.
to tell us what you think, or you just got a vent, or you want to cuss us out, or you want to ask lovely Mary any questions,
It's like why a Greek girl is named Dallas.
you have
Who
to
is?
call 909-360-8330. That's 909-360-8330.
Here on the coast. And top of the hour, that was Sade.
Oh,
The same Sade song we play every night. Love songs on the coast. I'm Karen Sharp.
that was Sade, y'all. We're going to play some other home jams. What's your jam, man? No, baby, that's our jam.
Well, that would have to be Sade again.
Sade, that's our jam, baby.
I am Karen Sharp with love songs on the coast for you to kill
Welcome
yourself
to the
to.
groove. Well, we done fooling around here.
I think we are. It's time for the lovely Mary Dallas to carry her weight. All 6 pounds of it.
No pressure.
So, lovely one, you are from the area. Talk to us.
I am. I live in Calamasa.
Wow.
Where?
And yet your career is going better than mine. Impressive.
Thank God, right?
Cheers, baby.
No, I actually grew up in Ukaipa. Moved to Calamasa a couple years ago.
Yeah, Dad said, this is Ukaipa, gateway to Calamasa.
That's right. No, that
I
is
just
in the
went
world.
live for the people on Facebook. They're seeing this beautiful Greek
guys.
woman.
that is
Yes.
my old
Hubba, hubba.
restaurant sales territory was Oakland, Ukaipa, and Calamasa. In Ukaipa, Copper Kettle. Calamasa, I forget the restaurant's name.
Oh.
Johnny's Roasted Chicken.
Wow.
Yeah, Johnny's.
Been there for
Okay,
like 40
we
years.
got, let's see, our first.
Dan did his best to put them out of business.
Mark Rahali is our first person to click on Facebook Live. Oh, Stephen Finsel. Hi, Stephen Finsel. Bob Haas. Peter Dilly from England.
Those
oh,
names-
my goodness.
Come on. Those names are all fake. Peter Dilly from
Well, this
England.
lovely. Tell us who you are again.
Yes, introduce yourself, baby.
You're not even wearing your magic glasses.
You're not
and
even
you're
wearing your,
saying
yeah.
this.
Well, my name is Mary Dallas. I am an actress from Calamasa.
Yeah,
And
gateway to-
I just got cast on the fantastic web series Barbie Rehab.
Bravo.
Season
Barbie
2.
Rehab.
baby.
Oh my
That's
God.
right.
There was wasn't that an actual doll that you
Yes.
could, when she was like all tore up and like smoking and bags under her eyes. And,
Yeah, she had a lot of issues, so she had to go to
yeah,
rehab.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Let's
I've met a few of those.
That's Rehab Dan Rupp.
Yeah.
is that how
I'm
it
like
started?
The Ken doll of rehab.
Ken doll is hilarious.
I mean, it's probably been
Suck it, Cop Ken.
yeah.
That would make me the skipper of Rehab.
Did it start out
Wait,
with
what
a
was her
parody
name?
of the doll, right?
Skipper or Piper? Who is Barbie's little friend?
Skipper.
Barbie.
Barbie's
Skipper,
little
that's
sister. That was the song for the doll.
Yeah.
For Skipper back then. I don't know why I know all these songs. I
Perhaps it's a message. You're calling out for help. Is it time for the talk?
Do you remember growing up? There's one called Growing Up, Skipper. You had her hand up and you push her hand down and then she grows boobs. She matures. It's Growing Up, Skipper. Yeah.
I think I do remember that.
She
Jeff
like
Spencer-
sprouts
Jeff Spen-
into a teen, from a preteen to a teenage woman.
Jeff spent a lot of time around girl dolls. His parents were hoping for a daughter.
My sister had one. I was figuring out how it worked, and I dismantled it.
Jeff
by
isn't allowed around schools anymore. I'm just hanging, officer. I'm not doing nothing.
Oh, So, Mary, tell us about how this all came about. This
How'd you
Barbie
get? Hold on.
rehab.
How'd you get your SAG card, baby? We're gonna start from the beginning.
I'm SAG eligible. I'm SAG-y, honey. I don't have
Wow.
I'm waiting to be cast in a show that's SAG.
We don't-
Gonna buy it for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm SAG eligible also, and I don't have that $3,000.
You amateurs are boring me.
I gotta pay. I gotta buy a radio. I gotta pay rent at a radio station.
Well, I guess I'm the only professional in studio this morning.
Such a has-been and
I
never was.
curse you, you son of a bitch!
Dan, my kingdom for a guest. All right, darling, what was your first gig?
My first gig was Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
Oh,
video.
you were in a Macklemore video. And how did you kill your grandmother?
Ran over her with a reindeer.
No, who you were making out with in the video?
Oh, I was making out with a rapper. Yes.
Yeah, Puska Mary. She's still swearing at the TV every time it runs. Which Macklemore video were you in?
White Walls.
Wow.
I played trailer trash. It was a blast.
What?
Yeah, I did. It was fun.
I'm one half of a gay couple with my brother Donald in Radiohead's second American video. They said it's okay, you're brothers.
Yeah, I had no acting experience, so it was kind of, yeah.
Whose idea was to make out with the rapper's idea, of course?
That was Ben Haggerty. That's Macklemore.
Wow.
That
That's
was his
cool.
idea. He goes, how do you feel about a makeout scene? I'm like, is it with the pool grandma? He goes, no. I go, well, I'm in.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was pretty fun. It was a blast. He's a great guy.
Wow.
Great guy. Yeah.
You hung with Macklemore all day. How cool
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah, I
Now,
didn't
did
even
you
know
make
who he
out with
was.
Macklemore?
No. He could be my son.
Oh, please.
I'd be proud to call him son.
You get an actress and all they do is attack themselves. Deborah Lamb was doing this too.
Yeah, self-esteem issues, right?
You're adorable. Yeah, but you're an actress.
Cheers.
Cheers. You got to learn to love yourself, baby.
I love me. Hold on, I'm gonna give myself a hug.
Yeah. You might want to go further than that.
Oh, yeah.
There will
We
be
have 2 hours to fill out.
there will be plenty hugs after the show when we take pictures.
This is true. Yeah, we always do a group
right
hug at the
behind
end of
you.
the show.
Yeah.
In a non-creepy way. Hopefully.
I don't get creeped out.
Oh.
I got thick skin.
Dick goes.
Good. You need thick skin in this studio.
Yeah.
Believe me.
We noticed Mary wore her best shirt to hide her needle marks.
I
Track
did.
marks.
See what I mean?
Her arm just bleeds as soon as she touches.
Squirts out of my
Yeah,
shirt.
exactly.
Right in the eye.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my arms don't bleed. That's why I had to have a blood transfusion a while back.
Wow. I gave blood on. I'm an O negative ECMO donor, which means I'm a universal donor. But
Yeah, I'm O negative too, so I appreciate if you gave blood because I used 5 pints of blood they had to pump in me.
And you're not a vampire yet.
No, not yet. No,
But-
they did it right through my
Wiener?
Yeah, penis.
they said
5 different IVs, right?
The doctor
in the
said,
middle
"I
of
can
my
see-
legs.
I can save this small but likable penis.
Yeah.
Don't give up, people.
Plasma, blood.
Wienerstein's monster.
They had to come and call in a koi surgeon to help do the surgery.
I was glad my doctor was Asian, so she was used to looking at small penises.
She said, I tell you, no Viagra. I tell you.
Address your letters to Dan Rupp. Not Pat Janky Jankowitz.
Yeah, D-Rupp at chaoticradio.com.
I remember when my urologist was this beautiful blonde chick, and it's like, no, I need a guy. I need an old guy.
Yeah,
This is not going to work.
yeah, my liver specialist is great. He's an old Jewish guy, and I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable.
It has to be somebody you would, but it has to be somebody you would cast as a doctor on any given episode of ER. He's got to look like a doctor when he comes in. I don't want a swimsuit model. I want a doctor. I want an older guy who looks like he's been doing this his entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Experience.
yeah.
This is my first week. I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, when you go into ER and you get that hot young Asian doctor, And
What was his name again?
her name? Her name.
Oh, her
And she's looking at your penis and putting stuff in it.
stuff in
it's-
it? Is that in the hole?
Yeah.
She was suppressing a giggle.
But no, the blood transfusion itself was very, very painful. If you guys ever have it done, I don't know how women have it done, but men, they said do it one of two. She said you could either do it through your jugular, or you could do it through your penis. And I
Before
said,
she even finished the sentence, you were screaming, penis!
no, I'm like, oh, I've never had it done. I don't know. You tell me.
He said the penis is always my first choice of entry or exit.
No, I think she just wanted to see my private.
On his card, it says Dan Rupp penis. His penis answers all the show's fan mail.
Where were we? Okay, let's go back to...
We were at Dan Rupp's
Yeah.
penis.
No, let's go back to our guest.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
we have a lovely Greek woman in the audience. We're talking about Dan's penis again.
Now we're going way back to Zorba's Burgers. Cheeseburger,
Actually, Zorba's Burgers. This is a true story. I went to Cal State San Bernardino, which is,
My sister went there.
by the way, it's a shame on both our houses. The great thing about it is you'll look in the middle of campus and they'll have these beautiful flowers alongside
Really?
a big dusky road, but it's a road covered with rocks. And you would notice it from the third floor of Powell Library. It looked like a scar running through the campus, but they put flowers on both ends. And I finally asked my professor, what's that big jagged thing going through campus? He goes, oh, it's going to kill us all. That's the San Andreas Fault.
Oh my God.
I was new. I'm from Michigan. I only knew the San Andreas Fault from the ending of Superman.
So what about Zorba's Burgers?
So
Cheeseburger, one zucchini, one Jenny Coke.
Actually, here you go. Zorba's Burgers, which is now an abandoned building covered in
Yeah.
graffiti.
Yeah.
Zorba's Burgers in San Bernardino was the original McDonald's.
Really? I did not know that. Oh,
If
thank
you see the founder with Michael Keaton, that's where McDonald's was. And that's hot. Do it in slow-mo. We'll play some Whitesnake.
Oh, I love Whitesnake.
Thank you.
Did you hear their new album?
Is it 1987 already?
Okay, welcome to our fun house, the Chaotic Radio Fun House.
The lovely Mary Dallas, Dan Rupp's penis,
Thank you.
and Jeff and I in studio.
We want to know more about you.
Oh, cool. What
Yeah.
Would you like to know?
Yeah, start from the beginning. When did you want to become an actress?
Actually, when I was younger, but I was too shy to do anything about it. So I just, for some reason, when I turned 48, thought, this is not fun. I'm not enjoying my life. I'm sick of the restaurant business.
Wow, was it a Greek restaurant?
We have two restaurants. We have one in Yucaipa and one in Palm Springs.
Naming them.
Hickory Ranch Steakhouse in Yucaipa and Bit of Country in Palm Springs.
Now, is it bit of or bit o?
Bit of.
Oh, wow.
Very famous. We've been there 37 years.
Wow.
Steven Tyler came by one day. It was unbelievable.
I have some of this.
He was hilarious, you guys. He goes, dude, this is the best breakfast I've ever had. I go, thanks, Steven.
Wow.
And we have this mural with all these animals with big eyes. And he goes, dude, those animals look like they're on drugs. And I should know. That's exactly what he said. He's great. And I started laughing and I pushed him. I almost knocked him in the planter. He's just a little dude.
Wow.
How tall is he? He's just a little skinny guy.
Like 5'5", I think.
Really? That's short, man.
Yeah, he's like right here to me.
Did the dude look like a lady?
He did a little bit. He's real cute.
Pull your hair
Very
back. You look
cute.
like your daughter in that terrible asteroid movie.
Now,
That was
do
me, by the
people-
way, Stephen, not her.
I know,
You
like,
still need
I'm-
to beat up that country.
On your way to a lot of like little restaurants and stuff around, on your way to Palm Springs, when a lot of actors come through or some, they sign their headshot or promo shots. Do you have those hanging in your?
I
your
don't.
restaurant?
I took a picture with Steven, but
You have to.
yeah.
What's
I
hilarious?
kind of reverse psychologied him into taking a picture with me. I
Ah,
had him ask.
really?
That's
Yeah.
good. Oh
I don't
my
know how I
god.
managed, but I did it.
Will you finally put on your top?
Come on, lady. Gravity. Get that bra back on.
I got an actress thing. Your first instinct was to insult yourself. How dare you, woman?
Don't point that at me. There's a nail in it. Get it?
3 pointing back at me, to quote the late great Tony Jankowitz.
We could
he
put
was
our
great.
chaotic radio poster in the restaurant.
Oh, that'd be great.
Autograph.
Oh my God! You weren't asking her that question, so she'd ask for your picture for the wall, were you?
Yes, please.
The terrible thing is, there used to be, now out of business, on Foothill and Grove, there used to be a pretty good catfish restaurant. It used to be Taste of New Orleans or whatever. Now it's an okay taco stand.
Oh,
Oh, that one right behind Red Hill?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it used to be a pretty good, slightly overpriced, Cajun food. And I would go there because it was the closest thing to Popeyes.
right. Cajun's kind of spicy.
Right.
I've never had catfish.
But they would
They have
Debo,
whiskers.
Debo from Fridays, Tiny Lister. He's also in Dark Knight. He's the criminal who throws the bomb out the window when the Joker puts him in the boat.
Yeah.
He was the only celebrity who had ever gone in there because every time you'd come in, it would be everyone who worked at the restaurant posing with Debo from Fridays in different one-on-one pictures. And they were all lovingly framed of the same guy in the same shirt and every damn shot. And I said, wow. And you wouldn't even notice it where he'd go, do you see me with Debo from Fridays? Yeah, and everyone else too.
Now, did you ever go to Castelletti's Polka Palace in, I think it's around Cucamonga, but it borders right along Fontana.
In my Polish heritage, I stopped there once on my way to Cal State San Bernardino. And I went there every time our Polish aunts were in town, they were never open. My parents went there. They liked it. I mean, my mom wasn't Polish, but, my dad dug it. If you wanted to hear Frankie Yankovic, it was the only area to hear it.
Yeah, I was there for my 30th birthday party. My wife had a birthday party there. And my friends, if you don't know my friends, they're all tattooed and crazy and...
Rehab guys.
I saw them at rehab.
Yeah.
But we ran them out of beer.
Wow.
And the bartender's like, I have to run to Albertsons real quick. You guys just sit tight. He goes, we're all out. You guys
I'm
ran
going to
us
call
out.
BS. You drank all a Polish person's beer? I don't believe that.
Believe it or not, we did.
My Uncle Chet could drink Grey Goose right from the truck.
Grey Goose, that's a good one.
He, not only that, but he literally, my cousins, the shotguns, Teddy, Chris, Stosh, hey boys, but you would drink with them, and I'm half Irish, and they would leave you on the curb. I mean, you would be beaten, and they would drink and drink and drink.
Wow.
And the next morning they would get up and drink some more. I've never seen Polish people can drink like Wolverine. I mean, they'll drink all night long and be okay. They're mutant healing factor. I don't know how they do it. I could never keep up with them.
Like the Italians, they can put away some wine.
Exactly. The Italians with wine, Polish people with beer and Grey Goose.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my brother-in-law, who's Italian, we would both wake up at like 5:50, and we'd be at the liquor store at like 5:55, just waiting for them to open. So we
Wow,
could get
that's a serious alcoholic right
You need to go to rehab.
Hence
Rehab. Now back to Barbie.
there.
I want to hear more
He
about
liked
this.
rehab so much he went about 4 times.
I want to. Even Barbie's been to rehab. Can you tell us all about it?
tell us about
How did
rehab
that
Barbie.
start? How did
Well,
that
it was the brilliant genius Vanessa Bednar and Derek Orr. They're the ones that are the writers, creators, producers. They just came up with this. Well, what happened is, Barbies, when we were young, a bunch of different Barbies, Adventure Barbie, blah, blah. Well, they all came to life pretty much, and they all have issues. So they go to rehab.
Really? So everyone in the show is playing a doll from their childhood. Is there a Big Jim? You remember Big Jim with the Kung Fu?
Oh, yeah. I had
There's
Big
a
Jim.
Star Trek Barbie and Ken. There's a,
Really?
there's a head collector Barbie. Oh, she's hilarious. She collects heads, Barbie heads. And she's like real evil, Absolutely hilarious, you guys.
Which Barbie are you?
I don't know yet. It's a surprise. We don't start filming till December.
Oh.
But the season finale for season 1 is in about a week or so.
Wow.
Yeah, exciting.
Interesting. This is cool.
I saw on your Facebook you guys had a life-size a
Box.
package, a box.
They have all the boxes, yeah.
And you crawl in and
Yeah.
you had your photo taken like a live-action Barbie doll.
That's kind of cool.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's great.
They
It's
do
just
that-
Genius.
They do that at Comic-Con when you can pose in a Star Wars action figure box. So have they picked out your box yet?
I don't know yet. They kept saying we have plans for you guys. We're like, what? was like, you'll see. I can't wait.
Do you tape it in L.A.? Will you tape it in L.A.?
Burbank.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
210 to the 134, by the way.
That's right.
Wow.
Don't have to go all the way to the 101, thank God.
No. 101 and the 405. Coming from the IE like we do, I curse myself if you're on the 405. I would rather get off on the 2 and fight my way through above Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because if you're on the 405, you've done something wrong with your life. Yes.
That's considered the worst freeway in Southern California.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at the Keanu Reeves movie Constantine, where the gateway to hell is the 101. No, it's the 405.
Exactly.
The 101 is always packed, though.
It is, but
I don't care what time it is.
But the point is, God gave you the 210 freeway, and you should use it.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, but the 210, except on a Friday, the 210 is pretty great, and it is a carpool lane. So if you have another actor or actress friend, grab them, drop them off on the way. You know what I mean?
I thought about getting one of those crash dummies, but I think somebody tried that.
No, exactly.
That was me. I did that.
That was you?
I did that in 1988. I had a Ronald Reagan. This is when it was pick and save. Remember? It was Big Lots used to be called pick and save.
Yes.
Ronald Reagan.
They had a Ronald Reagan one, a Richard Nixon, and I took the Ronald Reagan one. It was just an inflatable torso.
Yeah.
And I used it. I had a Plymouth Valiant.
Oh my God.
A 69 Plymouth Valiant.
So Jeff and the great communicator are whizzing through the carpool lane.
And I drove it everywhere in the fast lane.
Were you ever caught?
No.
I thought about trying that, but.
You know, I bring my brother Donald this carpool ballast. It's about his only useful purpose.
Can you imagine? Maybe you should do that for a living. I volunteer to ride with you to LA so you can use the carpool.
He's quiet as a mouse. He'll have coupons if you stop to eat.
It's taken me, at one time it was 6 hours round trip for a 2-minute audition. Wow. Brutal, I tell you.
You know,
2 minutes. Oh, man.
The heartbreaking ones are the ones on a Friday when you fight every step of the way to get in, and you know you can't go home until like 7:30. You can't leave.
Not even then.
Yeah. I mean,
Get it.
but you fight all the way in.
Yeah.
And I remember one, the casting people were laughing at a family out of Ohio were being towed. Oh. And they were laughing, and I thought, oh no. And it just bummed me out. Yeah. You know, you're seeing this family from Ohio crying because their car is being towed. And then the one casting office, which thank goodness is no longer in business, they were laughing and making fun of, you know.
That's ridiculous.
And it's like, how can you laugh? There's like a little kid crying her eyes out in the curb, you know.
Yeah, they're some of them are pretty brutal, you know.
Tough town.
You drive all the way down there from where we come, you know,
exactly.
Calamasa. Come on, that's way in the boondocks. Drive all the way down there, you fight traffic, you try to find parking, then you run your butt off because at first, you know, you're green. You don't know to be there early.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen. So you get in there finally, and you're like sweating, and your hair's all over the place. And
20 people ahead of you.
Yeah, and then they call you in, and you do your lines. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm like.
And you're all dressed the same.
Then you get in your car, and you're like.
What happened? Like an alien abduction.
Terrible. Then you got to drive home all the way home.
But you know what? The great ones are when you go in, you know the material. You do something different than everyone else. And you can see it in their eyes. Yes. They're not going to tell you. Like this. Yeah, and the eyes get big, and you get in your car, and you feel good.
You feel 10 feet tall. I go, I nailed it. You walk out, I nailed that.
And you know,
it's mine.
Whether or
and
not
then they don't call.
But whether or not you get a call back, you know you did something different. And you know what? The weird thing, I'm almost 90% sure when you've done the right thing, you know you're going to get a call back. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you usually do.
No, sometimes I thought I bombed. I auditioned for a Netflix series, and I thought I completely bombed it. And the next day, I got a call back. I was like, what?
Wow.
That's perfect.
Hey, look, we got a phone call. So let's find out what's going on here. I'm going to take this mouse, and I'm going to click it right here. And I'm going to take the phone, and I'm going to do that. Hello, phone caller.
Jeff, you there?
Yeah.
It's Steve Joyner.
Oh, Steve. No, it's
hold on. No, listen.
It's Jamal, right, from Compton.
You can pull us, LeBron.
Steve Rubin is on the other line with me right now. He's here.
Hey, we got 5 minutes for Steve Rubin. Steve, meet Mary Dallas.
Hi, Steve. How are you? He knows
Hi,
me.
guys.
Hi.
You guys were supposed to call Steve this morning. Remember?
Oh, we thought he was
I
calling
thought he
us.
was calling us.
He couldn't drive to Rancho Cucamonga. He insulted our show. Steve J.
Welcome.
Rubin, Mr. Too Good for Cucamonga.
You're
Thank
here
you,
now.
Mary
You're here now.
You're welcome.
Steve does making ofs on Hollywood sets. Steve, talk about Chopping Mall.
Well, that's not me. That's my friend Steve Mitchell. I'm here to talk about the Twilight Zone Encyclopedia.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
oh, is that the one? Is that the one by the guy? Let's see, the guy who wrote for Star Trek. Is this the companion? Is this a sister to the companion?
No, actually, before I did the Twilight Zone Encyclopedia, I did the James Bond movie encyclopedia.
No, with the Twilight Zone companion by Mark Scott Zicree. That's sort of the film and TV book that started all film and TV books. Were you worried about doing an encyclopedia since that thing has not been out of print?
I am a big fan of Mark's book, but Mark is a critic. I'm not a critic. I'm a strict historian. So what I felt we needed was an A to Z compendium of every single possible fact I could find about the zone. And one thing that Mark didn't do, he didn't emphasize the actors. And I had to write 500 bios of every single leading actor in the series. So I think our books are good companions.
Did you get Joanne Linville?
Did I who?
Joanne Linville. She starred in The Passerby, the one where Lincoln is walking down to the road.
Oh, yeah, no, I absolutely. Thank you. I didn't hear you. Absolutely.
I've interviewed her 3 times. She's amazing.
Yeah, basically, let me jump in here. Steve Rubin's a good friend, and Steve, when I first put him on a program a while back, we had such a love for the Twilight Zone. He, in his book, if you guys, you can pick it up. It's on Amazon and Kindle. Is that right, Steve?
That's absolutely right.
And basically, it's really an in-depth look at the Twilight Zone and the characters. And what I thought was fascinating, Pat and Jeff, was Steve and I were talking in depth about it. There are a few episodes like George Takei, Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner, and I forgot who else.
That's the rare 1 hour. Yeah, that's the rare 1 hour episode set in Korea, I believe.
Yeah. No, it wasn't set in Korea. It was about a Japanese gardener, and Steve could elaborate on it because I asked him why it never aired again. It was it basically.
That's the one in the cave where the guy changes places with the guy in the cave.
No. It wasn't that, Patrick. It was the one where George Takei goes to Well, Steve, you want to elaborate on the episode?
Actually, the encounter was a half hour in the 50s, and it was about a Japanese gardener who's invited into the home of a Marine veteran who is kind of, a traumatized Marine veteran. He has a samurai sword. He took off a dead officer, and the gardener just wants to mow the guy's lawn, but the guy, and played by George Takei in one of his first roles, and then the Marine's played by Neville Brand, who is a World War II
Neville Brand is
veteran.
amazing. A great character actor.
Great character actor.
He's in a movie called DOA. He plays Chester in DOA. He's amazing.
He was in Frogs, too.
He was also in Frogs. Jeff wants you to know. Jeff Sargent wants you to know Neville Brand is in Frogs.
Oh my!
And in Riot in Cell Block 11. But anyway, what happens is
with Bissell, my old friend.
There was a discussion about the fact that
Go on. Sorry.
George's father guided planes to Pearl Harbor, being a Japanese American, and this was totally false. And the fear after the first time it aired, was that the Japanese American community would be up in arms. So that episode only aired once.
Oh, really? Tell us more.
Basically, it didn't go into the syndication package, and only when they started to release the full DVD and Blu-ray sets did it come back. My book, The Twilight Zone Encyclopedia, is available in stores too. I should mention that. But what I do is I dig down.
Is that in Amazon as well?
Is that on Amazon as well, Stephen J. Rubin?
Absolutely. And, the fact is I had a hell of a challenge because I didn't want to repeat what Mark had done with his book. So I started interviewing a lot of people who had never been interviewed before. For instance, I interviewed the guy. This is an interesting story. he played the robot boxer who fights Lee Marvin.
Oh, and Steel. I interviewed Richard Matheson about that.
Yeah, it's a great episode, and
They
guy
remade
named
it as
Chuck
Real Steel with Hugh Jackman.
Exactly. And Chuck Hicks, who played the boxer who fights, he's called the Maynard Flash. He's a super sophisticated robot, and he has to fight Lee Marvin. It was just interesting stories about his background, and I'm fascinated with actors' backgrounds. That's why I enjoyed writing the little bio sketches. So that if you're watching an episode and you want to know a little bit more about an actor like Lee Marvin, you can learn more about him in my book.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm like a huge Twilight fan, especially around this time of year, because on Thanksgiving they would do the marathon.
No. You guys have been training all year.
Yeah.
I'm going to run the entire Twilight Zone marathon. I'm going to get up at 6,
Yeah.
and I'm going to go to bed at midnight.
And you see some of these people that were stars, like Robert Redford.
Robert Redford is Death. He's
Yes.
posing as a policeman. Yeah. And no,
Well, Robert Redford was a virtual unknown guy.
He
Rod
was just a
Serling had
kid
given
when
him-
you look at the...
Yeah, and Rod Serling had given him his start in one of the first television dramas to do something.
Right. Go on.
What I had heard is here's Steve. I never really asked you this before while on the air. And,
What's your favorite episode? Steve, both Steves.
Thank you, Pat. That was my question.
Oh, sorry. I was asking you too, though, Stephen. What is your favorite episodes, you guys? You too, Mary Dallas. I want to hear all 3 of your favorite episodes.
Of what?
Well,
Twilight
Zone?
Let's start with Steve.
I
Rubin.
would say that my favorite episode is the Burgess Meredith.
That's what I was just going to
episode
say.
where he
The
plays-
glasses.
Oh, with the glasses. A Time Enough at Last.
Oh, that's a great
Now known as
one.
the glasses episode. Time Enough at Last.
Yes,
Henry
that's the one.
Bemis.
I should have written this.
Love that episode.
No, you're right. The punchline of the episode is great when the glasses break.
I like the one with the airplane too.
Nightmare at 20,000 feet.
Yeah, that's a great
When he sees the
one.
creepy
Now,
crawler.
That's my
there's a
favorite.
funny-
Yeah.
Mary Dallas, there's a funny story behind that because I told this to Steve Rubin and Patrick before. A friend of mine, Larry Cedar, he
Oh, in the remake, yeah, in the George Miller version. He's
in
the
George
goblin.
Miller in the movie. He played the creature on the wing,
Oh,
and he really scared the hell out of people back then.
yeah.
You know, on the remake. But what was funny is that I heard a rumor, and Steve Rubin, you could probably clarify this more than anybody. Is it true, or is it just one of those urban legends that they wanted Shatner to reprise his role in the film?
I don't believe that really, Steve, because, well, you know, obviously he was a name, but the guys who did that wouldn't want to repeat themselves. He might have played a cameo in the background, but the lead guy had to be a younger man.
Yeah, because that's what, in the film, for instance, in It's a Good Life remake, Bill Mumy actually had a cameo in it. And
Joe Dante,
you're more
that was Joe Dante directing one of my college guys. One of my first professional interviews for the high school paper and for college was a cat named Jerome Bixby who wrote the original story.
Bixby.
Yeah,
right,
Jerome.
Right, he wrote the original story. I interviewed his son, and I got a nice
Emerson.
photograph.
Did you talk to Emerson or the other one?
I talked to Emerson.
Cool. Emerson's a good guy.
Now,
And
my...
yeah, no, I tried to find a lot of people who hadn't spoken before. You know, people like I sat down with Morgan Brittany. I talked to,
You know what? Morgan Brittany's great. She's in the, yeah, exactly. I've talked to her. She's in my Buck Rogers book. She remembers every line of dialogue she's ever had. She's a huge sci-fi fan. No, was she in, my mic went out. Was she in Mute with Ann Gillian?
Pamela Hemsley. She was,
Do you know
I
Pamela?
auditioned with her.
no,
She's
she
awesome.
Was, she actually a couple episodes.
Just recently.
First of all, she was not called Morgan Brittany in those days. Her name was Suzanne Caputo,
Yes.
and
She's also in
was
The
a
Birds.
Little blonde actress,
Yeah, she's also in The Birds.
cute little dark actress. No. She wasn't in The Birds. That was Veronica Cartwright.
No, Suzanne Capito is in The Birds with Veronica Cartwright.
Oh, okay. Well, then I defer to you.
Okay, now, my
But
favorite...
Morgan,
Okay, Dan.
My favorite episode was The one with the slot machine that was haunting this guy.
Franklin.
Right?
Yeah.
By the way, that was the original.
I don't know who the guy was. I forget who he was.
He's Edward Van Sloan. He was Van Helsing in the
You're
original.
so good.
Oh, thank
He's
you.
really good.
Edward Van Sloan.
Yeah, he's that's a great episode, and the fact of the matter is, Rod Serling went to Vegas and got the idea, and he got ideas from everything. And you talk about marathons. I sat down and watched 156 episodes back to back until my eyes went bleary.
Even the shitty ones.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's nothing better than a great Twilight Zone, and there's nothing worse than one of the shitty ones. Yeah. One of the shitty ones is they do a really bad version. They do the 35mm Shrine, which is where the woman keeps watching. It's Sunset Boulevard ripoff, and the woman keeps watching her old footage.
Boulevard ripoff.
Yeah.
And but I'll tell you, even the ones that don't quite work because they're derivative, the acting is so good, and the photography is so good, and the music's so good. I'm not going to say every episode was great, and it's obviously not, but there are probably more great episodes in this serise
than any other series. You're exactly right.
Now, I have Steve Rubin. I have a question for you. It's funny. I personally felt, I don't know about Pat and Mary and Dan and Jeff, but I felt, what was it, Steve, around the 5th season when they started doing hour-long episodes? I didn't know.
Actually, that Steve, I'm sorry, that was in the 4th season. What happened was the Twilight Zone was canceled after 3 seasons. The head of CBS programming, a guy named James Aubrey, was not an anthology.
By the way, that's James Aubrey was known as the Smiling Cobra. He would know that they were actually
exactly. You really know your stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Pat's a walking encyclopedia on this
not
stuff.
Not only did he come on CBS, but he later became president of MGM and was responsible for tearing down the 5 movie lots that service the studio. So we got condos instead of movie lots, but basically
The Love Machine by Jacqueline, the Love Machine by the chick who wrote Valley of the Dolls was based on James Aubrey.
Is that right?
Yes.
Anyway, Aubrey cancels the show in the 3rd season and brings on a show called Fair Exchange, which was some stupid little comedy drama that bombed. So he had to come back to Serling hat in hand and ask for a mid-season replacement, and that's when they decided to do hours. But because it was mid-season, they could only do 18 episodes.
My problem with the hour-long episodes is because Serling was so into the 30-minute format. You'll watch an episode like on Thursday We Leave for Home with James Whitmore. Beautifully acted episode. Tim O'Connor, who wanted to do Buck Rogers, is in it. But the problem with an episode like that is they telegraph the ending by the halfway point, and you still have to wait until they give it away. There's the
I'll give you that, Pat, but I'll tell you, the hour-longs have been disparaged over the years, and there are some hour-longs I'd never seen before, like Valley of the Shadow with Ed Nelson, which are very cool episodes that bear watching. I think the 30 Fathom Grave is a very good episode.
By the way, 30 Fathom Grave, since I do books like you do based on classic shows, 30 Fathom Grave, I think, is the first or second appearance by Bill Bixby. Simon Oakland.
Love him.
Oh, yeah, he's terrific. Simon Oakland.
John Afton also features that
also
really cool actor. I love Mike Kellen. Mike Kellen.
Oh, Mike Kellen, underrated.
Which guy was that? What episode was that?
That's the 30. The drowned ghosts are knocking. The drowned ghost. Jeff was wondering which one. That's the one where the ghosts of the drowned people from the sunken ship or sub are knocking on the hull.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And talk about
kind of scary.
shows that traumatize you when you were a kid. All I heard was that clanking sound. And remember that in my nightmares.
Wow. Of the hour-longs, I love Printer's Devil with Burgess Merritt. Printer's Devil is so ahead of its time where basically he's the devil and he's helping a newspaper publisher by creating terrible, terrible news stories that'll help him sell papers. And ironically, the 2 best ones are both devil episodes. Julie Newmar is the devil I think it's called Of Late, I think of Cliffordsville, where she teams up with this guy to go back to his youth. And the one where he switches places with the janitor and the shock ending. I don't care. You've had 60 years to see it.
Great. Also, the other one is that Jack Klugman episode, Death Ship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Jack Klugman.
Jack Klugman,
Steve-
he's
Steve-
Mr. Twilight
Yeah.
Zone.
Now, Steve Rubin, that was a question I wanted to ask you. Who occurred the most? What actor would you say besides?
It had to be
was
Meredith,
Burgess
right?
Meredith?
Meredith or Klugman, one of the two.
Burgess
Burgess
and
Meredith.
Jack both did 4 leads, so they
Wow.
would be tied for the leads. But also John Anderson did 4 leads, I believe. John Anderson. Another reason why I wanted to do the book is like nobody knows who John Anderson is, but when they see his face, he's the skipper of the plane that goes back in time in Odyssey of Flight 33.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
no,
the guy who really. He's the guy who really needs his little place in history. So I tell you more about Anderson in my book, and he was the trumpet player in A Passage for Trumpet.
I remember that one.
A Passage for Trumpet, if memory serves, is the first thing on any network show to mention Vietnam. Bill Mumy plays Jack Klugman's son who died in Vietnam.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, in Praise of Pip.
Yeah, in Praise of Pip, you're right. And that's the one where I think John Anderson plays Gabriel or Jack Klugman plays Gabriel in A Passage for Trumpet.
John Anderson played Gabriel, and Klugman plays Joey Crown, the
Klugman is amazing in that episode, man.
trumpet player.
One episode that haunts me, and it haunted me as a kid, and Patrick, you'll probably know who the actor is, but the puppet.
Oh, actually, they did that one twice. I interviewed. No, they did. They did.
They did?
They did. One of the episodes was
Because it was so good.
Yeah, they did. They did that one twice. Cliff Robertson told me that one scared the hell out of his daughter because they're basically the same ending where the puppet becomes the man and the man.
Yeah.
Cliff Robertson told me. Oh, good.
Speaking of Cliff Robertson, he gets the call to do that episode, which is called The Dummy. That was the first episode. And basically, they say they want him out on Friday because he's going to work. But he knows their drill already because he knows people who've worked for them. He said they don't really need you till Monday.
He also did the one where he's looking for the cure. I think 30 yards from
100 yards over
the rim.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great time travel episode. So he says they don't need me on Monday. I'm not going to go. I'm canceling my flight. The plane takes off and crashes into the Hudson, kills everybody on board.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That is
a
true.
Mm-hmm.
That was, those kinds of little stories, they don't pop up generally. So I needed to add those. And there are a lot of people in the zone who kind of died that we didn't realize. Like, for instance, Gig Young, who's in Walking Distance.
Suicide.
Yeah.
Gig Young murdered his wife.
Episode.
He also went on to do, The Walking Distance is a great episode. Gig Young, I think he was Oscar nominated for They Shoot Horses, Don't They, with Jane Fonda. Murdered his wife and murdered himself.
Won the Oscar. Yeah, he killed his wife and killed himself. And it's kind of weird because his character in Walking Distance is a traumatized advertising guy who was near suicide himself. So that was an ironic thing.
Interesting.
He did. Gig Young also did. I think his daughter, either a stepdaughter or something, is in "You'll Never Make Love in This Town Again." I won't say what the subject is because I don't feel like being sued. But Gig Young's daughter or stepdaughter wound up in that.
Wow. Cool.
And then Albert Salmi, who is that one.
I love Albert Salmi, man.
Actor,
Yeah, he was always
also
thugs.
did the same thing.
He was the hanging guy. In I think Russell Johnson is the scientist, the professor from the professor from Gilligan's Island. Russell Johnson.
Right. It's an episode called Execution, and he also comes back. He's the lead in late, I think, of Clippersville.
Yes. Oh, Albert Salmi's. By the way, another suicide.
I wanted Steve Rubin and Jeff and Pat and Mary and Dan. I wanted to interject something here. Steve, I don't know if I ever told you this, but it's hard when when you say what is your favorite episode. To me, that's almost impossible because there's so many good ones. But I got to say, Steve, one of the ones I really, really loved. I thought it was just a beautiful story. Was The Fugitive.
Wow, The Fugitive with that's the one with the guy.
It was with
Frisbee.
It was was that what it was called, Steve, with the little girl who had leg problems and the old man?
Right, that's Susan Gordon. That's Bert Gordon's
Gordon's
daughter.
daughter. She passed a couple of years back.
Right, and the lead is J. Pat O'Malley, that wonderful actor who was
on
My Three Sons.
Yeah, really, really great guy, and it's
okay.
about an alien, and I thought that was a good one. And another one that was kind of really sad for a long time was the remember Steve, the trade-ins with the old couple, you know, and they could get younger bodies.
That's what Susie Kendall, the British sensation, played one of the younger bodies in that episode. What's fascinating is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen, a lot of the actors looked forward to a Twilight Zone because they loved Rod Serling's writing. You know, and I remember Julie Newmar telling me when she met Serling, she loved his writing, but she said he wasn't a very tall guy. Julie Newmar is very tall. And she said he was in a cloud of cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
He
died young, didn't he?
Oh, my God. He died at 50.
Too bad.
Yeah.
He was like a 4 or 5 pack a day smoker.
Oh,
Every time you saw Rod Serling, he had a cigarette in his hand.
Yes.
This is what Rod Serling comes out of World War II. He's a paratrooper in the Philippines. By the way, one of the shortest paratroopers. And he saw horrifying things in the Philippines. Comes back with PTSD. Of course, they didn't call it that then. And he's told by a therapist in Chicago, you got to channel something, and that's when he started to write. And I say a little bit about this in my book, that his kind of writing, heavy drama, character-driven, big dialogue scenes, was a type of writing that was going out of style, unfortunately. You know, it's after The Twilight Zone gets canceled in '64, we see shows like Gilligan's Island and Beverly Hillbillies, and the dramas. And
but Steve,
also,
Steve, what about Night Gallery, Steve? He came back with that.
But you know what? The first couple seasons of rock and roll, then they kind of took it from him and turned it into this terrible Gary Collins detective show.
And also another fact that a lot of people don't know is that Rod Serling did not like Hogan's Heroes at all. He was really offended by that show. He didn't like that because him being in the war.
Right.
Well, one of the interesting things, by the way, one of our sponsors, one of the sponsors of our show, Bunky Brothers Comics, owned by a guy named Kenny. Kenny has footage of his family doing a trip to Mexico. And do you see all this endless shots of him and his sister doing cannonballs into this pool in Mexico? And what makes it amazing, on this little bus, I guess Rod Serling was trying the weird, sad cures like Steve McQueen did, where you go to Mexico. So you see Kenny and his sister doing cannonballs in the pool. Rod Serling is staring at them by himself, chain smoking, watching him and his sister jumping into the pool on their 8mm footage.
Wow.
And the other weird thing is, I remember with sadness, Matheson told me and Jerome Bixby told me, anytime you worked or hung with Rod Serling. By the way, Stephen, do you cover the fact that Rod Serling tried in the 70s to turn It's a Good Life into a movie?
I don't talk about that, but I know there were different things that Rod did. Rod tried to push all the buttons after the show was canceled. I mean, the first series he did after the show was canceled was a Western about a guy who does not like violence, and of course Westerns are all about violence, so that kind of died a horrible death. And he tried. What's also interesting about Serling is that he never had much of a movie career. I mean, yes, he writes. He does adaptations.
He wrote the friggin' Planet of the Apes. He came up with the ending.
Planet of the Apes.
That's his ending. They said the author Pierre Boulez, who wrote Planet of the Apes, was so angry about the Statue of Liberty ending, and I always thought that was a Serling tweak because they're taking a classic book by a French author, and of course, in the punchline of the movie, this gift from France, the Statue of Liberty, shows you've been on the same planet the whole movie. But he may not have had much of a film career, but what he had mattered. I mean, the ending of Planet of the Apes alone, holy crap.
Oh yeah, no, but he should have. The point I'm trying to make is that his style of writing was going out of fashion. Long dialogue sequences. He was not a visual writer. He also did not write women well, so he didn't quite fit into the feature world as it was changing in the 60s and 70s. I think that we were very fortunate that Rod was given this window to create the Zone, because I would maintain the 92 episodes he wrote was probably the greatest product of any writer in the history of mankind. And
I would argue you're right. I think it's the best television show you can love Breaking Bad and other stuff, which are brilliant, but you're right. The Twilight Zone hit the miss. The hit the miss ratio to Surf Man as a cookbook and all these other things. What made a lot of guys who worked with him sad is they said, Bixby told me this, and Matheson mentioned this. He was such a heavy smoker. He would smoke it down to the nub. Then he would take the nub and immediately light the next cigarette and put it in his mouth.
Oh my God!
And when you look at the stress he was under, I mean, you look at classic Twilight Zones like the one Completely in Silence with Charles Bronson and Elizabeth Montgomery, I believe, from Bewitched.
I love that one. Yeah.
It's called Two.
Yeah, it's called.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. This is off the top of my head. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, there's so many great Twilight Zones. What's the best story you got that nobody knew?
Well, there's so many interesting facts about the zone. I mean,
Give us one.
well, I didn't realize that when they made the Mighty Casey episode with, obviously it's with Jack Ward.
Oh, the
But
guy,
first
the
time-
guy having the heart attack. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Paul Douglas, who was a big actor at that time, had been in Angels in the Outfield and all these wonderful comedies and dramas, was near death. And when they filmed the episode, he played Mouth McGarry. By the way, the reason he's called Mouth McGarry is that Serling was spoofing the character he played in Angels of the Outfield. He played a different character, but it was in the same kind of a loudmouth baseball manager who just got everybody pissed off. So they finished the episode and they looked at it, and he looked so bad. And then he dies like 3 days later. So the network was going to throw the episode away, and Serling, out of his own pocket, paid for them to recast Jack Warden, and they reshot the episode with very little footage from the first episode. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Now, where can
Yeah,
people order
now,
you?
Steve Rubin, I wanted to ask you, did you met Carol Sterling, obviously, right, Steve?
Carol Sterling was very helpful to me. We became very good friends. And here's a funny story. She loaned me a book from Rod's personal collection. It's a collection of his live television scripts, because I wanted to dig down a little bit into how he wrote and his methodologies. And he has a long preface about it. So she hands me this book. I take it home. I put it on my desk. I go out to dinner. I come back to start digging into the research. The book disappears right off my desk. There was no break-in that night. There was no earthquake that it would deposit it in a trash can. To this day, 4.5 years later, I'm still looking for that book.
No way.
See, that's Twilight Zone in itself right there. So.
Yeah.
Carol gave me all the
That gave me
contracts. So
chills.
in my book, I show you most of the salaries these people made when they made the Twilight Zone. And for iconic shows like that, the top salary for a lead performer in 1959, 1960 was $5,000.
By the way, one of the greatest injustices of all, Twilight Zone routinely tops the greatest TV show lists of all time. Nobody gets residuals from these episodes that have run again and again and again. Julie Newmar said they were paid for the first 6 reruns, and then boom, nothing.
Yeah. Gilligan's
It's very
Island,
sad. And then of course, Serling sells the series back to CBS in the early 60s for, I think, $500,000. It's probably worth 25 to 50 million today.
Well, that's it. Yeah, and I was curious, Steve Rubin, and I had heard that. Now, when did Sterling die? Was it the 70s?
Rod Serling passed away in 1975. He had just turned 50.
That's young.
Not only did he have all that smoking, but his family had heart disease in their tree. His dad also died at 50. So
They tried to save him. They tried to save him, but they said he had the veins of a 90-year-old man from all the smoking. And
the
heart
other thing
crumbled.
I have in my book, The Twilight Zone Encyclopedia, I have his last interview.
Wow.
So I have a very lengthy interview I got from Linda Brevell, a journalist in L.A., and so you hear Rod's voice in the middle of my book. So Rod is alive in my book.
Wow.
Awesome. And I was going to ask you, Steve, and is that, so I had read so much about it, and then when I heard that I guess it was maybe 79 or 80, I don't know the year exactly, it was after Rod Sterling had passed away, but that's when that's
We're
what
in the last
Spielberg
minute, you guys. I'm so sorry. We're in the last minute in the show. We're getting the wrap-up sign.
Oh, shoot. Go ahead, Steve.
Mary and
By the way.
Steven, tell us where we can order your book. Mary, tell us what you're doing next. Go for it. Let's wrap it up.
The Twilight Zone Encyclopedia is available in fine bookstores near you and on Amazon.
Awesome.
Wow, awesome. Thank you. Mary, what's up there for you before we sign
Barbie
off?
Rehab Season 2 coming up.
Barbie Rehab, Season 2. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Dan the Man Rupp, Jeffrey Sargent, myself, and the lovely Mary Dallas, thank you for tuning into the Jeff
Yeah,
Sargent
thanks
Show.
for all the information. I would love to have you in studio, but over the phone is fine. That's okay.
Yay, thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. A lot of inside
Thank you,
information
guys. Have a great day.
Bye, thank you.
on one of my favorite series, which I still enjoy watching.
Barbie Rehab.
Barbie Rehab.
No, I live rehab, so
We got to get Dan in an episode of Barbie Rehab.
Yeah.
Can he be like Ken's uncle or something like
I'll
that?
speak to Vanessa
He
and
would-
Derek,
no, wait,
or
he would be your consultant on rehab.
We could give him like dummy beer, ginger ale, or something, and just have him.
that'd be awesome.
It could be relapse Ronald, Uncle Ronald, relapse Ronald.
yeah,
Hey, Dan, are we off the air?
I'll
Be hilarious.
put on my clown suit and I'll drink apple juice.
Clown Ken. Clown Ken.
Oh my God! No! Holy crap! I was wrong. I thought it was the end of the show.
No,
Holy
we
shit.
got an hour
Oh
left
no! Get Steve Rubin
with
back.
our beautiful guest.
Wow!
Aw,
Oh, no.
Stop.
And I
Stop.
want to hear
Keep coming.
more.
You had us blowing the whistle. Did you set your watch
I was
back?
ending the show. I thought we were
I
done.
know. I was wondering what you were doing.
Oh my God! I saw Dutchie whispering to you, and I thought, "Oh my God, we got to get out of here."
You panicked.
Oh no!
You got so scared when
You'll
you
be
saw
okay,
Dutch.
honey. It's all right.
He got so scared
Oh my
when Dutchie
God.
walked in the booth.
Steven J.
Whispering
Rubin, I'm
to
so
Dan.
sorry. Call back.
Saying,
No,
shut these
no,
motherfuckers
I-
down.
Crap! I'm so sorry.
I didn't get in that much trouble.
I didn't know we could cuss.
Just
Yeah,
if we
Son of a
answer-
bitch.
Swear away, baby.
Son of a...
Swear in Greek.
Oh.
Hasta diavolo there.
I was just told if we empty the water in the coffee thing to fill it back up.
Oh.
That's all I was
I was
told.
like,
God.
okay, Dutchie, we
So
got you,
I'm-
buddy.
I'm not in big trouble.
I pointed out at 7:59, and I pointed to Dutchie talking in the booth. They go, "Oh my God, we got to wrap it up." Steve Cox and Stephen J. Rubin, you may call back and chat with the lovely Mary Dallas. and I.
That just gave me an idea when we.
I just ended
Comments?
the damn. Why didn't
Questions?
anyone correct me? I just ended the damn.
You're
show.
looking at your watch like it's 8:59 and it was
Oh my
7:59.
God, Stephen Cox and Stephen J. Rubin, you may call back.
Yeah, did you not fall back, Patrick?
Apparently I didn't.
He sprung forward.
I've
That's
been
what
showing
happened.
Jeff the clock. I was showing.
Yeah, it's fall. It's not spring.
I whispered to Mary.
Kicking my foot.
I whispered to Mary a minute ago. Don't worry, we'll have you back in to finish this.
He did.
Oh.
I'm like, aw.
Wow.
What a nice guy.
I
Oh my
just
God.
when we evolve to the TV show, I want to have like Dutchie coming in, the size of Godzilla, like coming into Dan's booth,
Oh no!
taking
no.
the roof off the building. Shh, we got to get a good special effects team for that.
Oh, my
You're
God.
gonna
Like
have
a Japanese restaurant.
Ah,
you're gonna have to build him some stilts.
I'm gonna have to let Stephen Cox.
and we got to have Jimmy and Roy in this too.
Yeah. They're actually very. We met Jimmy yesterday.
We were so scared, like Jimmy's like, oh shit, what do we do, man? Did we say something about? Oh no, he's gonna get mad. We're gonna wait. I'm Roy. I'm Jimmy. Oh my gosh. Oh man.
The Jimmy and Roy show is heard on Monday nights.
This is a
from
wacky
7 to 9 o'clock.
7 to 9. Okay, this is a wacky Wednesday. Where were we, Mary?
Holy crap!
We were in Barbie Rehab.
Rehab in
We
my
got
box.
to.
I just ended the show.
I just got out of my box.
Well,
You're
oh.
putting you in a
Well, that
box.
sounds terrible.
Nobody puts.
Let's
Nobody
get
puts
you
Mary in a
outside the
box.
box.
Nobody puts a Greek girl in the corner.
Dallas inside. Do Dallas inside the box. Outside the box. Hey,
He did Dallas in the box.
you gotta talk. We gotta get Dan in one of those episodes, man.
Getting him out of rehab will be the hard part.
It's all part of the show.
Hey, it's step 12, man. I go back there all the time to help the guys out, and I sponsor and I do what I can to help addiction.
Thank you.
I just found, guess what popped up on Facebook 4 years ago today? Me and Dan sitting at with all the celebrity pictures on the wall at Red Hill Coffee Shop.
Yeah, we got to post our poster up
Discussing,
there.
it says, discussing showbiz and future politics. We were talking about the Jeff Sargent show 4 years ago.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
took 4 years to just to get this far.
On
Babe,
an internet
quit talking
radio
about it,
show.
Jeff, and just do it. So I did.
Good for you.
So,
I'm just letting Steven know that we weren't really done.
oh yeah, please, yeah, you. Oh my God.
Well, all right.
I was just wanting to.
Tell us
Oh,
more
shit
about-
happens, you guys.
Yeah, I'm so embarrassed.
Don't cry.
Then you
We're
get a
still
bumper
not.
sticker.
I got. Oh my God. Oh
I
my
got
God.
Barbie
Touches-
Rehab sticker.
I was
Yeah, you want one?
Jeff.
Of course I want one. I'm gonna slap that
I
on
want
my.
one too, baby.
Too.
Wow, thank you.
Dudes, did I score or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. So tell us, is my mic on?
Yeah, your mic's on.
Okay, cool.
Let our guests know where she was born, where she's
Yeah,
raised.
where were you born?
I know you live
Chicago,
in
On the
Calamasa.
Greek island of Athens,
Chicago.
Greece.
I was born in Chicago. My parents were
Oh.
both born and raised in villages in
Wow.
Greece. Yeah, we went back when I was 16.
Did you really? Was it fun?
I'm 16. I'm leaving Southern California to spend my summer in Greece and in a village with no bathrooms.
What?
Good times. That's how it was. That's
so
how my parents grew up. They
You didn't have a
anything.
squatty potty. You just
They
squatty
did have
potty.
something that you kind of hovered over. It was like an outhouse,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even really a toilet. It was kind of like putty coming out of the ground,
Yeah. Oh wow.
like a funnel.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear Greece is like that
Back
too.
in the days, I thought Jesus was going to walk by any minute.
Were there goats everywhere, like in the movies?
Everywhere.
Wow.
In the living room where
Greek
we
yogurt.
slept, the goats were right underneath us, and the wood, the particle boards or whatever,
Yeah.
on the ground. There was like gaps in between them, and the goats. It's like sleeping in the same room with the goats.
Wow.
Yeah.
Goats are
Good
cooler
times.
than people, though. Sometimes I've met a
Oh,
few
they're
cool
sweet.
goats,
Little
Yeah,
baby goats
they
are so
don't
cute.
talk back.
but they will ram you.
Yeah.
They will.
Now, how is the Greek yogurt back in the Greece?
The Greek yogurt my dad used to make all the time
Yeah.
Wow.
from scratch.
All right.
Did he make it in the bathtub or in the
Now,
sink?
I can't believe in
You
the
know-
village, modern day, in villages, making potty holes.
It was horrible.
Wow. Did you? I mean, squatting there. Was much less paper used in those, or what?
Yeah,
No?
I don't recall. It was kind of I kind of repressed it.
Yeah. My
I'll
li-
wait till I get to the city. Wait till I get to Mount Olympus,
Yeah, my,
Did you actually
I'm
go to
glad I
my-
experienced it though.
the Greek god of throne of what do you call it? The
Porcelain, no, the putty throne.
yeah.
I worship the putty throne.
my wife is from Chicago, and she's not Greek. She's Italian.
We forgive her.
But
We're neighbors.
Okay, I'm
Her-
sorry.
Nobody's perfect.
her
We're neighbors.
favorite movie, and I actually like it too, is My Fat Greek Wedding.
My big fat.
I
big
saw that
red
with
nose.
my
Yeah.
mom.
Did?
When the old
Did you get
guy's
lucky?
in the car, he goes, "There's a drive-through." Oh, drive-through. That's Greek. That comes from the Greek meaning of driving. And you
Yeah,
drive.
every
Is that
every
true?
language.
From the Greek.
Yeah, every language comes from the Greek.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's τίποτα.
even French fries.
Even
Yeah.
French fries come from.
Onion
French
rings,
fries
zucchini.
originate from Greek.
Or Athenian gyros. Is it gyros or gyros?
It's gyros.
Gyros.
Years.
Yi.
Gyros.
Gyros. Yeah.
I like to
Okay.
say gyro for some reason.
Everybody says
It's
gyro.
not- it's
I
just
gyros,
like
so
to
it's
Because
gyro.
I'm like a
It's a
gyro.
gyro.
Yeah.
Everybody gets it wrong.
That's amazing. Yeah, the Twilight Zone guy will call back at 8:20 because I want you in on this. I want to.
Oh.
There's a Twilight Zone episode I want to talk about. Well,
Yeah, when he calls back. So Dan, they're calling back at 8:20. That gives us 16 minutes of nothing but Mary Dallas.
yeah, Mary. Woo,
Dude.
yeah.
Okay,
no
Mary.
pressure.
So, what
So-
part of Chicago did you grow up in? Downtown
The
or?
city of broad shoulders,
Melrose
baby.
Park. I was born in Melrose Park.
Okay.
My dad
My
had a little
wife-
restaurant there.
My wife was from Lombard.
Oh. Well, we left when I was 3. My dad got a hitched it to his Volvo, and we drove.
Wow, smart man.
trip.
Yeah.
Wow.
Road trip on Route 66.
You could
Yeah. So
Otherwise, you'd have snow coming up to your rectum about now.
Oh yeah, it was in the middle of winter, and my dad came out to Fontana to help one of his friends open up a restaurant, and he left Chicago. It was 20 below. He landed in Ontario, 70 degrees. He runs to the nearest payphone. Remember those?
Oh,
Yeah.
Runs to the nearest payphone, calls my mom, says, pack up the kids. We're moving to California. And that's the story.
We left
Wow,
Michigan.
the Beverly Greek Billies.
Yeah,
I remember-
exactly. Totally.
We left Michigan at 16 below. We arrived in Southern California. My dad picked us up in a short sleeve shirt. It was Christmas. It was 70 degrees. And I would never go back. I would never go back on any permanent basis.
Yeah.
No.
Mosquitoes, no black ice, nothing.
All of my wife's family, and she has 7 aunts and uncles. They all moved here to Southern California, except for one moved to Florida. And they're like, no, we're done with Chicago. She has one aunt that still lives there. And, God bless her. I wouldn't want to live there. I lived there for a little while. I had to work there for 2 weeks, and it's harsh, man.
Yeah, I heard it's brutal, but
Exactly.
I would love a nice white Christmas though.
Wow. Yeah.
California, you don't get that unless you go to Big Bear.
F that. You don't
Okay,
want a white
I'll be
Christmas.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all white.
cold
All
weather.
3 of us are white.
We can build a snowman together.
So what's Armenia, my love?
Armenia, my love, is a story of the genocide of Armenia. It was a period piece based in 1915 Constantinople. I played a Greek nurse
Wow.
for the Red Cross, and I'm the one that found the little boy with his dead mother. I take him to safety.
Oh man.
Was that the one produced by the guy from the X-Men, Ralph?
No, it's
Who was the other actress or lady that? Who's the other lady you were photographed with?
Deanna Angelson. She's the writer, producer. She also starred in it. She's absolutely amazing. I'm in a next film of hers called America, which is going to be shooting pretty soon, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Excited. She's
Where is she
wonderful.
from? How did you meet her? How did you hook up with her?
She's Romanian, but she played an Armenian woman in this.
Well, it's still got the Anian in the back, in
Well,
the
I-
end of the words. Yes.
Yeah. She's wonderful. She's amazing. She wrote everything. But I auditioned for her.
Oh,
And
that's
she
how that
wanted us
happened.
to bring a monologue. I couldn't find anything.
Oh wow.
Because I was doing all my research online about Armenia and the genocide. I couldn't find anything that really said, so I wrote my own. And I made her cry.
Wow, how
And
clever.
I got the part.
Yeah.
You
I
over
love
your
her.
credits?
She's
job.
wonderful. Yeah. The Pope watched that movie.
Really?
How can I and Pat and Dan? How can we watch this? Is there?
Yeah, where
Oh,
do you?
we can-
Do you have to give us a? Do you
Amazon.
have it on a DVD?
I have it on TV. I can bring it by. You guys can watch it.
Sure,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
What about your vampire movie? Talk about that.
Ooh.
You mean that music video
That's the one.
where I
Who'd
throw
you make
popcorn?
out? Who'd you make out with in that, baby?
I threw popcorn in at my husband in that one.
Oh,
A really nerdy husband.
Wow.
you obviously didn't have casting approval.
So you are
Wow.
married, and do you have kids?
I'm blissfully divorced, and I have no children, no pets, and no life plans.
Oh my gosh, this is the
Wow.
ideal woman. This is the complete package.
Here you
My
go.
kind of girl.
There you go, Jeff.
There's a love connection
Oh,
between
wow.
Jeff and Mary Dallas.
All of a sudden, you are twice as gorgeous
Thank you.
now.
Oh.
Yes. Oh my
No,
gosh.
don't flatter me. Yeah, keep going. No, stop.
Yeah.
Plus, she can make you breakfast.
I make a damn good breakfast. Yeah, I can scramble an egg.
Wow. Can you scramble a Greek egg?
I can scramble a Greek egg.
And Jeff wants to know if you can cook his
Add some
goats.
olive oil to it. It's a Greek egg.
Jeff wants you
Throw a
to.
little feta.
Jeff wants you to kill and cook all his goats.
Oh,
I'll
goat
cook your-
cheese, goat
Goat
cheese.
cheese.
He's gonna give you a brick and point each of them out. Do his favorite one is Lucky.
I
So
do love
Lucky that.
zucchini and cucumber sauce.
Yes, that's good stuff.
Not
Yeah.
ranch, cucumber sauce.
Tzatziki. Oh, did you want to talk about
Tzatziki.
Pamela?
And
How do
gyros.
you know? How do you know Pamela Hensley? You blew my
Guys,
mind.
you're gonna believe this. I was auditioning for Shameless. That show
Yes,
You
the
Shameless.
be
show.
in that. You've got that
Wonderful show.
personality for that
Yeah.
show. You are just
About the
full,
grifters.
I
so
completely
rich in
flubbed my lines,
character.
you guys. I wanted to die. I walked out.
Wow. I did that
But-
once on. I did that once on Carnival. I memorized the wrong monologue, and they're
Oh,
like,
God.
"We told you to memorize the other one," and it's like, "Oh no!" And I just slithered out of.
I had to say this line, excellent price in Greek. The Greeks don't even use that word, my parents told me. So it's set in stone. And the actual line is exeritiki timi, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I had to memorize that. So did Pamela Hensley. She was auditioning for the same part
Pamela was auditioning.
with me. She even told me where to go eat after. She was, you know what she said? Excuse my French. She goes, if I never have to say that line for the rest of my fucking life, it won't be long enough.
Oh my God, Pamela!
She was fantastic, you guys.
I did a book on Buck Rogers.
She was wonderful.
And 30 people tell stories about her, and I could not get hold of her for love or money.
She's hilarious.
Her husband was the second in command of Aaron Spelling Television.
Wow.
So she is richer than God, and there was no interest in her people in talking about Buck at the time. Are you still friends with her?
I didn't get her information, but she would remember me. I know she would. We talked for hours. She was wonderful. She told me where to go eat.
You guys went to lunch afterwards.
Well, she told me where to go.
Well, oh, good.
My friend.
She told you where to go.
You just go there.
I'm going to tell you.
Wow. Pamela Hensley. My mind is blown.
She's fantastic. You guys, I loved her. I came out because
How'd she look?
She looks great. Unbelievable. But I came out. I did my line the first time, my scene, and the I don't know who she was, the showrunner for Shameless. She goes, okay, do it again, but not so big. I'm like, I'm Greek.
Yes, yeah.
How could she not do it big?
She was funny. So then I went and did it again, and then I flubbed it. And I was like, okay, I'm out of here with my tail between my legs. I just ran out of there.
No, I remember Automatic Sweat casting, wrong monologue for Carnival. And they're looking at me like, we changed that at 4 o'clock. And I never looked at the new one. So I memorized the wrong monologue.
Yeah. They were really nice people, though. Everybody there was just fantastic.
I just slithered out to the car. It was tail firmly.
Oh, I've done a lot of car rage. You know, punching my steering wheel. I can't believe I did that.
I don't do car rage. I do car self-loathing. You effing idiot!
Look in your rear mirror. You idiot! What's the matter with you?
I blame you, idiot.
You did it, not me.
Exactly.
It's your fault.
Exactly. So, but that's the thing. It's all instinctive.
Yeah.
If you just follow how you feel to do it.
Yeah. It just comes out sometimes.
What I hate is when you're in the car and you think of a better approach.
After.
And it's like, I've just spent 90 minutes getting there. Why didn't I think of this then?
Yeah.
You know?
I'll never forget, you were saying earlier about when you know you got it.
Yeah.
I auditioned for Sex Sent Me to the ER. And
oh, yeah.
I got the part.
I love that show.
I did an episode of that. Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was great. The set was great. The people were great. I had a blast. But when I did my line and I saw the casting director go like this, inside my mind, I'm like, I got it.
Yeah. That's happened when you do that, when you set the joint on fire. You know what I mean? I mean, you know it. And I
when
remember,
they all clap.
Yeah. When I did... you
want to cry.
You know what the great thing is? One of them will break and laugh. And if I got a laugh in the room, I know I'm onto something.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I didn't get this call back. And then I was subbing. I was substitute teaching. And in the middle of this Little League field, my phone buzzes. And I knew before I even looked, I knew I got it. You know what I mean?
Isn't that wonderful?
The rest of the day, you're just floating on air. And my policy is always, when you book and shoot something, you never mention it. And and don't do this, but a lot of my actress friends will do this.
I did it once. I did it a few
they'll
times.
go,
I stopped doing it.
But they'll go, oh my God, I've got a Pepsi edition tomorrow. I can't wait. And of course, you've just told all your friends, 90% of them are your type.
Yeah.
There's a Pepsi edition. They call their agents. And
Hey,
this one girl did this all the time. It was so weird. I saw so many of my friends on this edition. And it's like, you clueless effing idiot. You not only rang the dinner bell, you called it airstrike on your own edition.
Oh, God.
You know?
Auditions are fun, though. I that same audition for, I met the beautiful, talented Michelle Borth. She was on Hawaii Five-0.
Oh, yeah.
She played McGarrett's girlfriend. Gorgeous. Stunning.
Michelle Barrett. Let me look
Borth.
it up.
Borth.
Borth. B-O-R-T-H?
Yes. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. A fantastic actress. My God. I got to talk to her. She was wonderful. So nice.
I did that. You know what? DC Stages. Have you ever been there? Because we did that. Remember Snap? She made me do it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, where you reenact the I did that one, and then they paid us cash that day, and I'm at downtown LA, and I go to the Chase Bank to go deposit my money, and I'm looking in my pockets. My money's gone. I was totally broke, and it just never put cash in your pocket. Put it in your wallet, man.
One of my most fun auditions was for Funny or Die, and I actually got a call back on that one.
Really?
I played an little old Italian lady from Sicily. Wow. Come, have a dinner with us tonight. I'm a cookie. They were laughing because I was like big. It was an older lady, so that's why I didn't get it. Because it was me and 4 other women. They got the call back, and they were like career actresses, like 40 years in the business.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was in good company.
Yeah.
I remember I was so excited. I was called in one time because my hands were the same size as Clint Eastwood's.
Wow.
And it was a great thing because they're photographing from every angle. And then they told my agent his hands aren't old enough.
That's what makeup's for.
I thought that was so cool.
Prosthetics.
My hands were up for a Clint Eastwood gig.
They used my hands, just my hands, to pass tickets to Little Bow Wow in that movie,
How
Like
funny.
Mike.
Really?
Like Mike, yeah, I was the ticket guy, and his double, of course, hands took. I go past.
I'm
the
a hand
ticket,
double.
You know,
Pass the tickets,
and
he.
you know you're in Hollywood when Jeff's telling stories about working with Little Bow Wow's hand double.
With his double.
Yeah. Tell me you weren't his chauffeur.
Oh, God, so funny.
Oh, that's terrible.
But I do have a little advice for some new up and coming actors.
Lay it on us, baby.
Don't complain on social media
Yes.
about your production that you just did, about an audition you were just at, about a fellow actor, producer, or director, or casting director. Don't bitch.
I think that's how I got suspended from Central Casting.
You know, it's just you don't want to do that.
It's
Call
insane.
a friend and vent.
But if you
But if somebody wants to hire you or even considers hiring you and they see you doing that,
and 90% of the room is going to rat you out anyway. You know what I mean?
They have. I found out Central Casting has people that go onto people's Facebooks and they stalk your page. They'll
they'd
go
see
through people's.
how you're doing, what you're doing.
Yeah. And
How you act online. I mean,
Exactly.
that's how you're going to be on set. Who wants a crybaby on set?
No, if you're giving them a preview of what you're going to be
What
like.
are you going to be like to work with?
And if you're a whiny a-hole trashing them on media.
Drives me nuts, you guys. You might as well shoot yourself in the foot.
Hey.
Don't bitch and complain online.
Exactly.
Or post an illegal spoiler.
Yeah.
Steven, are you
People
back?
have done that too.
Well, actually, it's just me, Pat. It's Steve Joyner.
Can you believe this guy?
I'm so sorry.
He was doing
Can you
Dan's
believe this
job.
guy?
Usually Dan sits there. I got to break her. He got we get so nervous when Dutchie comes in,
Dutchie's the head of the
and we
station.
saw him talking to
I saw
Dan.
Dan. He was close talking with Dan, and I looked at my clock and it said 7:56. And I grabbed Mary's elbow and I go, don't worry, we'll have you back on. And then I point out to Jeff. I point him like, he gives me a confused look. And Dan's not saying anything. I assume that's why Dutchie's talking to him. He's like, I thought he was saying you better ramp up on time.
You're going over time.
guys.
You better shut it down.
Yeah.
We need more advertising. Shut it down. Give me money.
I'm looking at him thinking, oh my God, we gotta save Dan.
All he said is, "I want water in the coffee
You
machine."
scared
when
me,
you guys
man.
leave."
That
That's
scared
all he
the shit
wanted.
out of me right
I
there.
saw him whispering over Dan's shoulder, and I grabbed Jeff's elbow and pointed it out.
No.
Oh my God,
Dad,
we're
You
in
guys
trouble.
turn white. You turn white.
It's like, what did I do?
Dutchie is more than just the owner of the station. He's a
Force of nature.
very good friend of mine.
But I grabbed Mary's elbow and I go, don't worry, we're going to have you back.
I'm not
God.
worried. I had fun.
And I was. Oh,
You're still
man.
having fun. Hopefully.
I'm having a blast.
So
man.
what's going on, Steve Joyner? What's up
Yeah,
with you?
what's up, my friend?
Steve is coming out tomorrow to fill in for Pat. He will co-host.
Wow.
He's going to co-host. We're going to have Marilyn Gigliotti from Clerks.
Pat and Jeff, you there?
Yes.
sir.
Okay, I got a surprise. Someone on the phone with me. On the phone with me right now, direct from the East Coast. She's going to be coming back to LA, and hopefully in the studio is Lisa Wilcox.
Oh,
Lisa.
my God. Lisa Wilcox.
Wow.
Can we say hi? She's on right now?
Can she hear us?
Yeah.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa, I interviewed you for Star Trek The
Hi,
Magazine.
Lisa. Welcome to the Jeff
Hi,
Sargent
Lisa.
Oh,
Show.
lovely, Lisa.
So Lisa, this is the program in Rancho, and it's with Pat Jankowitz, Jeff Sargent, and they have actress Mary Dallas in there. And Lisa was calling me back. She just got back from Germany. She's in the East Coast.
Wow.
And Pat,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Pat
was doing Rhode Island. I was doing the Rhode Island Comic Con.
How'd it go? Was it fun?
Yeah. Oh my. It's the biggest Comic Con. I'm sorry, San Diego Comic Con. I know it's huge.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
I'm sorry.
You got to
I'm
be
sorry,
kidding me.
Rhode Island Comic Con is bigger than you can even
Wow, hard to
imagine.
believe.
It's
Wow.
huge. This is crazy.
Wow.
I looked at my
Have fun.
phone to see how many steps I walked. I walked like 6 miles.
No,
Just to
Lisa.
get to the bathroom.
But
So,
Lisa's claim to fame was.
Mary Dallas, are you
Yes.
familiar with Lisa's work at all? Do you remember the Nightmare on Elm Street films 4 and 5, Alice?
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Fabulous
she was in
job.
that. She was in Star Trek.
She was in, but more importantly, Lisa was in an episode of Star Trek written by the creator of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And if that's not enough for Lisa Wilcox's pop culture history, her son threw up in Luke Skywalker's backyard.
You know that story.
I do.
You know what?
Oh my God.
This guy amazes me every time he opens his mouth, Lisa.
He's like an
How-
encyclopedia. I
One of
mean,
those-
Listen,
Boy.
I should Lisa. Everybody, I should warn you, Lisa. I should warn you now, Lisa. Pat is he's like a walking historian. So
He knows
I
everything.
love
Oh,
that
okay.
you knew that story.
Pat, what was
You have to
Lisa
know
eating
how
for
to
breakfast
learn.
that morning?
Yeah, Pat, what did she have
What-
that
what
day?
was-
Talking to each other. Okay, wait. Okay,
Lisa
you
had
talk
orange-
first. I'm staying silent. You go.
Well, Lisa's got the most amazing blue eyes. I mean, one of the first things.
I was going to tell her that.
No. Lisa, I interviewed one of your directors, and the first thing he said, those eyes, and
Nah.
she's got the biggest, he directed Lost in Space, he directed the premiere of 24, but the first thing when we were talking about your Elm Street movie he did with you, the first thing he mentioned was your eyes. I mean, just
Who? Wait, who are you talking about? Who said
I want to
this?
see a picture of her eyes.
I'm punching up your eyes for Mary Dallas to look at.
No, but who said this?
The director
What
of 20.
The director.
Stephen from 24.
Wait, I can't hear.
Stephen,
Who?
the
What?
director.
calm down, Jack.
Which director?
The director, he directed Ghost in the Darkness. Do you know who I'm talking about? Hold on.
What's his name?
Stephen.
Steven, can you think of the last name?
Hopkins?
Yes, he
That's
directed
it.
24.
No way. He actually gave me a compliment?
Yeah, he said
Oh my
nice things about you. By the way,
What?
yeah, no, Stephen Hopkins said nice things about you when I interviewed him. So,
He did?
he also
Really?
directed, oh yeah, he directed the premiere of 24. He remembered how big
Well,
your
I
eyes were.
know he's iconic for that show. I thought he hated me.
No,
I had
No,
idea.
no,
He said
no,
nice things
no.
about-
Really?
Yeah, but you're an actress. You think every director hates you.
What?
That's
Can
what
you,
we
like,
do.
Send me like a typewritten text or email me what he said.
No,
in the
Lisa,
interview?
it's
I'll find the
crazy,
interview for you.
Lisa. This is the thing about Pat and Jeff, especially Pat. Pat knows it's like a savant. He'll know these weird facts about things, and he's had some guests on.
Oh,
And he'll
I thought
yeah.
A lot of these things don't make in
you
print.
don't even know. Like there was stuff that went back down, down bad, like not nice stuff.
Wow.
And
She's beautiful.
You'll hear
And,
behind the scenes when he does these magazine interviews. Some of the he still has conversation stories that don't make it to print, and that
I
that's
think
one of them.
Me and
but
Jeff.
he was complimentary
Yeah,
of my.
he
Did
was.
he say anything about my work?
He mentioned he mentioned how bright and blue your eyes were.
Well, okay, that's good enough. Fine. You like my blue
The
eyes?
problem
Okay.
is with you actresses, you're always
Okay,
looking for.
you have
Yeah, I have
no
shit brown
idea,
eyes,
you
okay?
guys, the history of me and Stephen Hopkins back in 1989 and
on Dreamcast?
1991.
Really?
You have no idea. Because Stephen Hopkins went on to do Predator.
Yes.
Wait, Predator
2.
The first,
Predator 2,
Predator
a great,
2.
great sequel.
and Nightmare 5, we launched him to that film, Predator 2. And he did an interview on, I don't know, what was the big screen, film magazine back then?
Entertainment
in
Tonight.
89, 91.
Entertainment Tonight.
Premiere.
Oh, yeah, Premiere Magazine.
That
yes.
was a hard copy magazine with entertainment.
Right,
what
right,
was
yes.
it called? No, when he felt like he dissed on all of us in Nightmare 5.
Oh,
and,
no,
and
really?
he called us infantiles and this and that.
Oh boy.
And then
Could you
he
imagine
was
infantile in
kind-
a good way?
and Stephen Hopkins was kind of outrageous, and he he got really mad at somebody who interviewed him and like pulled
Oh,
out the
no.
earplugs.
You know what? Yeah, that was, in fact, you know who that was? That was the cop from Dexter. Yeah, that's one of the things we talked about in the interview. The guy was on the Channel 5 Morning News, and he was ready to shoot. And, oh, my God, what's that actor's name? He's in Predator 2. Let me look him up. He literally, like you said, he walked over, it might have been Ruben Blades. He walked over, and he pulled him off the air.
Yes.
And oh, my God.
Really?
Yeah, and we mentioned that to him. I mentioned that to him during the interview. He was very sheepish. Because it was the biggest budget you worked on. But
well, what did Steven say about that? I mean, he was outraged by something this guy said or something.
He was
like, what's the down on this?
He was mostly sheepish about it. You know, and he goes, it was this biggest budget movie or something. And whatever it was, when he pulled him off the air, it just gave him this enfant, terrible reputation, which it kind of embarrassed him because it followed him for years.
Wait. It gave whose reputation a bad?
It gave Stephen Hopkins.
No,
the guy didn't do anything.
Interviewer.
I
don't even know who we're talking about.
Okay, we're talking about Stephen, your director.
Yeah, Stephen, I know, but who's the guy that he pulled the earplugs from?
Ruben Blades.
Whatever he did.
Ruben Blades went on to do Dexter. He pulled him off camera during a live interview to get in a scene again. And I think he was more sheepish about it. He said it gave him kind of a bad reputation.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen Hopkins.
Well, it did, because in the magazine interview, and when Stephen Hopkins talked about the cast of Nightmare 5, and I'd already done 4.
You're amazing at 4.
And so Stephen was, I guess, forced to work with me because New Line, wanted me to do Nightmare 5, which definitely didn't have the box office success as Nightmare 4.
The Rennie Harlan one, yeah.
That's a whole other discussion because it's a completely different kind of film and different script and everything. But I honestly, I felt like Stephen Hopkins, if you're out there, one, I want to say when we had our meeting, and I'm your hired Alice Gal character for Nightmare 5. I thought you were the hottest freaking thing in the world, and I was married, but I thought you were so hot. We had our lunch, and I was like, yeah, okay, we're gonna do this movie. Great. It was beautiful.
Well, we got a surprise for you, Lisa. On the other line right now is Stephen Hopkins. Steve, you there?
Yeah, right.
No.
Hey, don't put it past Steve. He will do that. He'll pull 3, 4, 5 people in on the conversation.
Your acting skills. But
No,
I would
I'm
love
joking.
to talk to Stephen but no, honestly,
He's a
I was
handsome cat, I will say.
he was so gorgeous and beautiful. I was like, oh my gosh, this man's
Kind of like Jensen Ackles. He's gorgeous. Gorgeous man.
I interviewed Jensen Ackles as well. But
I haven't seen him in years, and he hasn't seen me in years. And age does things.
No, just stop being an actress, Lisa. You look stunning.
Well, yeah, thank you. Finally, no, but it's interesting because today
We can't help
I saw Lisa a couple months ago, and with my wife at a thing at the Hollywood Improv, and she looks amazing. She's all
Lisa's doing comedy. Lisa, you're doing comedy now?
No, it was a live radio show thing.
Lisa's laughing.
Live radio shows are comedy.
No, she ended up going on the program. She did go on the program.
And actually, I have done quite a bit of comedic work in my career, and I know folks know me from Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5, and maybe from Star Trek.
But you were Bill and Ted's though too, right?
No, that was a TV series. It wasn't the film,
Oh, I was such a
But I did lots of sitcoms and this and that. I've been told I'm like a Bob Newhart, who is this is old school stuff. But no, I've done a lot of comedy, and I'm all over the game. I've played from nuns to prostitutes and comedians and whatever, you name it. I've done a lot, but I still have more to play, like a psycho killer. I really have that role in mind, or whatever. But
you could argue you did a psycho killer on Star Trek.
Sorry?
You could argue you were a psycho killer on Star Trek.
I'm named the assassin on the Monopoly board.
How fun.
The next gen Monopoly board. Because Monopoly.
Oh, are you really? Wow.
Yeah.
That would be a
Monopoly
blast.
does these special Monopoly boards geared with TV series.
Really?
Yeah, they did a next generation Star Trek Monopoly board, and I can't tell you how thrilled I was because let's think of how long Star Trek Next Gen was, how many episodes, how many guest stars they
Yes,
had.
A lot.
They must have had
It was
hundreds,
huge.
Yeah.
right? So when
You know-
I learned by accident that I was on the Star Trek, I'm a property on the Monopoly
That's so
board.
amazing.
Yeah.
I wanted to interject
And I'm
real
the
quick.
assassin.
And when you look at your
The
stuff,
first time,
give me an F.
Jeff,
You know? Oh,
the first time that I met Lisa and she agreed to go on a radio show that I was one of them, is that she told this funny story about Jonathan Franks and the Jello and the green
Yes.
teeth.
Yes. Yes. And I just saw Jonathan in Rhode Island Comic Con.
Wow.
I was in the Star Trek Next Gen row. I'm on the end, of course. 'Cause, I mean, they're the premieres, of course.
Of
They're
course.
premiere with I mean,
But you're
the main characters, and I just happened to be there because of Nightmare on Elm Street. So I was really there with Robert Englund,
Oh, really?
Freddie.
Yes.
But I did that crossover sci-fi and Next Gen, so I was on a row with like next to I don't know what the Seinfeld people and things and
The Sim Nazi.
why am I
Sim
here?
Nazi does
why
everything.
Am I here in the 80s? And
Good
I
for you.
didn't do a Seinfeld. And I wasn't in Roger Rabbit. And the guy in Roger Rabbit is next to me, and then so finally the promoter agreed. Oh, of course, Lisa should be on the Star Trek side at least because the headliners are all in a completely different room.
Right.
And that's when I said when I started this conversation, Rhode Island Comic Con is the biggest, largest Comic Con I have ever been to. Same with
I love Rhode Island.
same with Robert Englund.
Okay,
it's
I
huge, and the stories of it.
apologize. I had to tune out. I had some computer issues that I had to get straightened out. But I heard Jello.
Wait. Hold on. Let him
So-
finish.
so
Let him
Bill
finish the
Cosby-
story.
Hey,
Whoa.
Wait, cream
Hold on.
cheese and Jello.
Your ear off, and I'm so glad that you brought up the word Jello so I can get back on track and
Yeah.
talk about because so now I'm at the Star Trek line, and Jonathan Frakes walks up to me. You know, he's still handsome, gorgeous. He's like Utah, Princess of the Utah. You look amazing.
Her alien name from Star
So
Trek, by the
darling.
Vengeance Factor.
So
He's
funny.
so cute. But yes, the thing is in my role, I'm a sovereign to my queen, and I taste her food to make sure it's not poisoned. I also cook her food, and
Wow.
then Jonathan thinks I'm cute. So, the character, Captain Riker, right?
Yeah.
And
You are so good at this.
And he's like, cook for me. And so I do. And I create Parthas. It's called Parthas. And we're in the nostalgic restaurant, eating area, Star Trek ship, right, where they eat. And I put down this dish on a plate. And it looks like green Jello, but it's more than that. But it's basically green Jello. And he goes, Parthas a la Utah. and I'm very restrained, very prim and proper, straight back. I nod my head, and he eats it. Okay, so we're filming. He's eating this. All of a sudden we hear, cut. And Jonathan and I are both like, we're like, what? What's going on? What's happened? We didn't miss a line. What's happening? We didn't miss a cue. Well, whatever he was eating, whatever was created by whoever, was stained his teeth green.
Oh,
Ah,
no.
yes, beautiful.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Wow.
And so beautiful Captain Riker, and now
Green
has green teeth, eating Parthas a la Utah. This is not good. This is not a good situation. And so they cut, and I don't know what heads rolled, but some rolled, I'm sure, because we got our lead actor in Star Trek Next Generation who's now got stained green teeth.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's where improvision comes in and keep
We
rolling.
stopped filming. Yeah, no.
Don't
it
smile.
hasn't- and I don't even know what happened, but they had to get his teeth clean. I'm horrified. I'm like, I didn't have to take a bite. I was just giving him a bite.
But you know what's interesting about your episode is you're such
So
an
anyway-
Oh, go on.
So all I know is that we did stop filming for about an hour and a half. I think poor Jonathan had to eventually brush his teeth with peroxide or something.
Wow.
I mean, back then
Yeah, back then they didn't have what they have now.
they didn't have, the dental strips where you can
Right.
bleach your teeth in 20 minutes or whatever the hell it is. That did
that
not
right?
exist back then. I'm going to say, okay, guys, all right, tell me, can someone Google what I think I want to say it was 1990.
89 or 90, right?
Seven?
Wow.
1997?
Well, it went off the air. It went,
What year this episode came out?
The show went off the air.
Vengeance
And
Factor.
the,
The
I
Vengeance
believe.
Factor.
Yeah, I believe you were early Star Trek. I believe it was 89
Yeah.
or 90.
Third season.
Yeah,
I
you
was
were
third
89 or
season.
90.
90, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody had
Yeah,
yellow
it was
teeth
it was
back then.
80. I think it was 90, Lisa. And Lisa, I didn't want
Was
to.
it 90?
Yes.
Yeah, it was 89 or
89,
90. 'cause I watched-
1989,
wa-
The Vengeance Factor.
89, thank you, yeah.
Those
And-
years
and
were
the,
so close to each other, they're the same to me.
Exactly. Yeah, Lisa, I want to tell you about the guest that's in the studio now, Mary Dallas. She's an actress. She's in SAG. And Mary...
She's a great personality.
Oh, thank
She
you.
is so funny.
Thanks, you guys. I try.
She
But
has-
looks on everything,
she has a
right?
thing-
You're a
Lisa, she
natural.
has a-
You're a natural funny girl.
Aw.
And I'm not talking Barbara Streisand either.
Well, I got her
She has
schnoz
a-
going.
Lisa, she's got a thing called Barbie Rehab.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mary, if you'd elaborate to Lisa again real
Absolutely.
quick what that was. Okay.
By the way,
Remember,
Mary loves,
Lisa?
I'm gonna
Mary
shut
loves
my
you,
mouth.
Steven.
I love
I'm
you.
shutting my mouth, and I want to hear Mary. And can I listen in on this? And I won't say a word,
Oh,
but I want to hear about Barbie rehab.
Well,
This-
remember,
this
Lisa, when we were
fascinates me.
younger and we had all these different types of Barbies, like Adventure Barbie and Disco Barbie. Remember that? You
yeah.
had some You had Barbie, different types of Barbies,
Come
right?
on, just admit it. You
Go
played
with
with
the
your
blue
I
eyes.
Barbies.
remember the
Go with the
airplane
blue
Barbie.
eyes.
Yeah, that like the stewardess Barbie.
And I had the airplane whole thing you could open up.
Right,
and
right.
Yeah.
the Barbie could
I had
be
that
in it.
too. I had the
Yeah.
Corvette too.
Oh no, it was my life. Oh,
It was my life.
Corvette. Oh yeah.
I had the Corvette.
And
all
then
You
the
had the
outfits.
Ford Pinto.
The shoes.
I had the Ford Pinto that you rear-ended and it explodes.
Yeah.
No, but Lisa, with the different types of Barbies in this, there's like we have like head collector Barbie, we have fairy Barbie, Star Trek Ken and Barbie, Cop Ken. Anyway, what it is about is all these Barbies have like major issues, so they go to rehab.
Oh yeah. Can you do a Nightmare on Elm Street Barbie?
Oh, that'd be awesome. We have to talk to Vanessa Bednar and Derek.
Can we do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They've
on
got-
it's on YouTube. They're getting ready. Actually, the season
Oh my
finale
gosh.
for season 1 is coming up in about a week or so, and then they're going
In
to
your
start filming.
YouTube episodes?
Yes, they're all on YouTube, and I got cast in season 2. I'm so excited.
I'm just.
I am.
You'll love it,
well,
Lisa.
how do
It's
you
hilarious.
how do you get cast into YouTube? I'll be Alice Barbie. I'll be Barbie Alice Johnson.
Lisa, you
And
can-
We got cocaine
be-
Barbie. We got alcoholic Barbie. We got
Yeah, I
Pot
could be
growing
alcoholic Barbie.
hydroponics, hydroponic Barbie.
you have no
unwanted
idea. I'm
pregnancy
crazy.
Barbie.
No, but she's Lisa,
Can we do
Mary's...
Lego Barbie? Is there a Lego
Oh,
Barbie?
gosh.
There has to be. There should
Well,
be.
I collect Legos.
Oh gosh,
So
you
many
do. You know what? Me being
I
an
have
artist.
Spider-Man, Batman. I have several versions of Freddy. I have
Do you
Little
really?
Seagal.
Oh, we have to
I
talk
have
to
a
Vanessa
Katie
and
Seagal
Derek. Lisa.
Lego that is from Sons of Anarchy. Right?
Wow.
Character Jenna.
Cool.
No, I am a very serious mini Lego collector.
Really?
You know what?
I
Oh, I
can
did
make
not know.
you.
I've seen a
Lisa-
Barbie mini Lego. Is there one out there?
I can
Please,
make
please
you a
tell me there is.
full size doll. What are they? 12 inches.
Jeff is a Disney sculptor. Lisa,
I
so he
can
can't
I
make
can
it.
make
No,
you
I only
I
do
can
the
make you a
mini-
custom Lego Barbie. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
I can
Jeff
even make I can make a
Okay,
Lisa
wait, I'm
Wilcox
taking
Barbie.
away
Would you like
from
me to
her
do that?
time. No, I'm
Yeah.
taking away from her time. I'm shutting my mouth. I'm putting
Yeah, go ahead,
electric tape
Mary.
on my mouth.
Yes, dear.
Mary.
Yes. Here I am.
Okay. I'm just listening now.
Okay.
Wait, before you go,
Okay.
Lisa, how do you cope with
I'm a fly on the wall.
Hold on, before you
Period.
fly on the wall, Lisa, how do you cope with stepping on a Lego?
Scream bloody murder.
It's the worst pain in the world. I buy them for my 7 and 9-year-old nephews. You step on a Lego, it's like stepping on a punji stick.
Yeah, you might as well get stabbed.
Stabbing would be merciful.
Yeah, I'd
Right in the
rather
gut.
step on a black widow than a Lego sometimes.
A Lego, well, it feels like your foot is crucified on the ground.
No, I have electrical tape on my mouth. and I
No,
have
talk to us, baby.
But with the
Say-
Lego, you just put it back together. It's real simple. You just attach it. Nothing. It's real simple. Okay.
But Mary's been now. Lisa, yeah, Mary's been. I booked Mary on a couple programs, and Mary's just got an amazing story. Lisa, she really does. She's, you guys got a lot of similarities.
I'm not here. I'm a fly on the wall.
Go ahead, Mary.
I'm not talking anymore.
Mary-
I hear a laugh from me. That's it. Mary?
We can hear you
Yes,
speak.
Speak up, Mary.
Here I am.
You're on the radio,
audience.
Mary. Start
Damn it.
talking.
I have
Mary-
a face for radio, right?
Oh, no, don't be an actress.
Stop being an actress.
All actresses do is tear themselves down.
Oh, I hate those commercials. Real people, not actors.
then
Excuse
it
me.
says- and then it says-
Insulting.
It's scripted.
There'll be
Yeah.
my favorite commercial. There's one that runs all the time. It's a soccer mom cancer patient, and they show her going through her day, and then there's an asterisk at the bottom of the screen. Real actor portraying a real person, and it's like, what?
That's
Wait
funny.
a minute, why didn't you put the real person on
Oh,
there?
how
Yeah.
dare they?
But the real person. Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of breakdowns, you get for people that are actually experiencing, not actors. So we do get breakdowns like that. So
Isn't that terrible? I
yeah,
mean, my
people
favorite.
with no arms or missing a leg, they have
when-
like
We've had them on our
we
show.
had them on
Yeah.
the show, but you'll see casting breakdowns for reality shows.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. They were
yeah.
looking
there's
for
some of them are hilarious.
they were
you
looking
guys.
for wacky customers for that reality show in Vegas.
You
know?
guys, I saw one. Real vampires. What?
Yeah, real vampires. Only real vampires. We don't want any
Kidding.
methods.
Hey, I have a question. Hey, Pat, Jeff, I got a question for Mary.
Okay.
Lay it on us, brother.
And Lisa, if you want to answer this too, because it's a valid question. We're not.
Don't
being
talk
silly
over
or
Lisa's sensual breathing, though.
Okay.
Okay, Lisa could, but Mary, what is, as an actor, as an actress, what do you have like a dream role, something you really want to do one day?
Yes.
What is it?
To play the a long lost aunt of Sam and Dean Winchester on Supernatural.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Supernatural.
wow.
Yes, my dream.
Really?
Yep.
The Padalecki, I interviewed Jared Padalecki.
Nice guy.
He's as tall as I am.
Yeah.
And I interviewed Jensen Ackles when he did, I want to say My Buddy Valentine.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
in that. Did a great job in that. He played a psycho killer.
Wow. Well, what's interesting about you guys, when you have a little bit of genre, like Lisa has like genre between Freddy and Star Trek. She's got sci-fi and
yeah.
horror covered.
Yeah.
Lisa, did you know, and we can hear you breathing, so you have to answer this. Did you know that Star Trek The Next Generation would become so big when you did the show? Because it was still
question.
it was still kind of a cult thing when you did the show in the 3rd season. It didn't really explode until the 4th season. Did you know it would be that big? Talk, Lisa. Wilcox.
This is Mary. Mary show. Fine.
Well, no, it's a valid question.
It's a direct question for
It's
Lisa
about-
Wilcox.
I'm dying to hear the answer, Lisa.
I have to get Mary's permission to answer.
Give it to her, baby.
Me to answer that?
Lisa is being cool and wants you permission
Wait,
to talk.
I can't hear Mary talking.
Oh, absolutely,
Stop.
sweetie. This is all of our show.
Okay. All right.
We're all
for
in
it.
this together.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, man, it's
When
a
I
party,
did-
dude.
Yeah, man.
Hey.
Man, give me some
ASA.
Hey, give me. Hey, pass the joint over this way in the booth.
Oh, wait, Lisa's
All
talking
right,
to you
order
guys.
in the court.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Answer us, please.
Come into the light, Lisa Ann.
When I did Star Trek Next Generation, I knew it would be huge. It was already huge. Star Trek was already huge. Okay? I mean, it was huge. Next Gen was huge. And then went on to another series, I don't know, and another, they called it Apollo. I don't know what the hell they called it. I don't know.
Deep Space Nine. We had Voyager, Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, thank you. And I had an opportunity to audition for the redheaded, who's kind of bionic but human thing, and I was too comedic. So
my goodness.
Yeah, because my part that I did in Utah, no, I was definitely like top cast, top consideration for, but I was a little too comedic, and that's probably due to my theater training, my improvisation thing.
That's crazy.
And I had the body at the time.
Another actress thing. Don't run yourself down, you guys.
Stop that.
Eyes, right, the blue eyes. But no, they didn't get it.
Damn gravity.
They just were onto that redhead woman, whoever did it. And I, quite frankly, I thought she was kind of boring.
Mary.
I didn't know her name. I saw it a couple times. I was like, she's so boring. Way too mechanic.
It's a yawner.
No, and like she needed to be a little more human.
Yeah.
She was sexy, but she was boring. It was, whatever.
Sexy and boring.
Mary, Pat, Jeff, Mary. I got a funny story to tell you real quick about Lisa. I told this to Lisa, and she almost kicked me right. Anyway, but about 4 months ago, I was in the town I live in up here. Aaron Sawinski, the guy that played Baby Superman. He was at this mall doing an autograph show, and they had a Star Trek table of Trekkie fans, like the local whatever, And I was talking to them, and I brought up, that what I do, putting, just what I do with the radio and all that, and I brought up that I knew Lisa Wilcox. And you never saw a bunch of middle-aged nerds go insane, man. I mean, they actually, no, I'm not joking, dude. I am not joking. They knew what she said, what she wore, and they're like, oh, what's she like? How is she? And I felt like saying, well, here's her number. You can.
Oh God, no!
Don't you ask her?
Actresses love when you give out their numbers.
Yeah.
Especially middle-aged fanboys that live in the basement of their mother's house.
No, well, you know what though? They're really, Lisa could probably verify this about that, because I love Star Trek. I don't dress up in the costumes, only on
Wait, I saw you wearing an officer's shirt.
Just don't wear them in public.
Come on, Steve.
That was Halloween.
I saw your Ben Cooper, your box costume.
But the thing is that Lisa can tell you they're really sweet people. I mean, I'm kind of ragging on them a little bit, but they were so into that episode, man. I mean, and then when I told them that Lisa told me when she first met me that Lisa is in, what is it, Lisa? You're in the top 10 group of badass women in horror with Jamie Lee Curtis.
That's awesome.
And
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like. Yeah, and actually, it's not like this, the guy in the basement in his mom's basement started plugging in. But no, it was like, a CNN thing, review, survey. I mean, it was a big deal.
Wow.
And I didn't even know. I mean, I had a friend that, just sent me an email and said, did you know you're like number 9 out of the 20 of top heroines with, like Aliens, Sigourney Weaver, and I was like, what? What? I mean, what's so interesting too, going back to Star Trek, is that I had done Nightmare on Elm Street 4 already and played Alice, and 5, and did Star Trek after that, which is very interesting because they cast me, and I was already kind of known as like this, horror actress,
Right.
Horror. I can never say the word right. Horror.
The horror.
Lisa, I got a question. I've never been to any East Coast Comic-Cons or conventions. Do they charge more for and the security for for actors and the celebrities on their tables? Do they charge more for photos or I've heard about this. Is it more than California?
I heard Becky's price because you don't run into a star.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably the same. I don't do, and you're in Rancho Cucamonga.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
talking about, San Diego
Yeah.
Comic-Con. I've never done a San Diego Comic-Con.
Wow. Why not?
No.
Yeah.
Except for years ago, before it was anything. There was nothing happening 10 years ago at San Diego Comic-Con. Me,
That's
Tuesday
true.
night, who reprised
that's right,
the role
yeah.
of Kristen, of Patricia Arquette's role, right?
Yes.
Season
Oh, I
3.
love her.
And Patricia did not come back for Nightmare 4. So Tuesday night reprised the role, and I think Andras might have been there, played Rick, who was my brother, whatever. We were literally sitting there in an empty, musty, huge room.
Oh,
Nobody
you were under the sails.
I
You were
did.
under the sails. That's where they put you.
Comic-Con, and you know what? I'm going to take it back. I'm going to say 15 years ago.
Yes.
Wow.
We were sitting there.
Yeah, it had to have been 15 years ago.
It was still half porn.
That
That was
Literally,
like 2002.
Oh yeah.
it was still half porn in 2002. It didn't really
Right.
take. After the first Spider-Man
And
movie,
nothing
then
was
it became.
happening for
Yes.
the show.
Now it's just crazy.
Now
Well, now, then, I've gone back 2 times for a very quick visit. One was Fear Clinic.
Oh, my friend Neil
Robert
DeMonte.
England and I,
Yes.
Kane Hodder,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
we did a webisode, 6 episodes, called Fear Clinic.
I forgot you did Fear Clinic, directed by
Yeah.
Robert Hall and my friend Neil
Fear
DeMonte.
Clinic.
Yeah, my friend Neil DeMonte built the Fear Pond.
You
in
know
that.
who directed it?
I do.
Robert Hall.
Rob-
He's an amazing director.
Almost
And
Human.
we
Yeah.
did 6 webisodes. And Daniel Harris.
Oh, that's
Okay, so
right.
we got
She was.
Robert England,
Wow.
Kane
I love
Hodder,
Robert Englund.
Daniel Harris, Lisa Wilcox. We did 6 webisodes directed by Robert Hall. Freaking awesome.
Great show.
And-
Underrated. Seriously underrated, Lisa. You know what? I
Well-
went to, go on.
Well, I want to tell you, Robert and I did a panel. He and I were the only 2 from Nightmare on Elm Street at Rhode Island Comic Con.
Wow.
We had a panel on Friday. This is most interesting because Robert and I have never had a panel, just the 2 of us together.
Really?
Usually, it's Robert and numerous casts for Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
Right.
Nope. This time it was just me and Robert.
Wow.
And Fear Clinic was brought up. And Robert said, quote, unquote, that the webisodes were better than the movie.
Wow.
I love
Yes.
the movie.
It's awesome.
When he went on set to do the movie, he assumed I was one of the cast members. I was not. I was recast. My character was changed to some 23-year-old or
Ooh.
whatever. So Robert didn't know. He honestly didn't know.
Wow.
And what was really cool and a confirmation of that the webisodes, and if anyone can find them, reclaim them. I don't even remember who they were ultimately produced by, but they were really great. And we were so excited by this. Kane Hodder, Robert England, myself, and we were so excited about this project, webisodes. I mean, webisodes, you know, oh, God.
Can you find him
so,
now, like on YouTube?
Yeah, are they on YouTube
And
now?
those webisodes can grow into
Probably.
a TV series.
Oh
And
yeah.
there are a lot of TV
Absolutely.
series out there that have grown into that. Anyway, it didn't happen, but I was really happy, you know, it's cool that Robert acknowledged, too, that, you know, without Kane Hodder, without Lisa Wilcox in this projection of Fear Clinic, great concept.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, for
I'm
being
gonna
a,
check it out.
for being a fly on the wall, you have a lot of stories to tell. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that, Lisa.
You are,
Man.
you are the butterfly on the wall, Lisa Wilcox.
Beautiful
I need
butterfly.
to write a
You
book.
carried us to the last minutes of the show.
We heart you,
Yes.
Mary Dallas. We heart you, Lisa Wilcox.
So, if you have any plugs,
Oh, no, she loves you too. We've
I
been
love
I
you.
say no more.
We love
No,
you.
it's the
I
end
love
of the-
you, man.
You
I
can say
love
whatever
you.
I love you.
I love you.
I
No,
love
you.
you.
No, you
And
don't.
I love you.
man.
I
You
love
too over
you.
there.
We'll prove to all 4 of ourselves once we're off the air.
Steve Joyner will be.
Yeah, we're gonna have a orgy in the green room.
Right?
We have a green room here, Lisa. Can't wait to get you in the studio. Live. Live action.
You mentioned orgy and then invite Lisa Wilcox down. Smooth timing, Jeff.
We will be streaming live on Facebook and YouTube tomorrow with guest co-host Steve Joyner.
Thank you, lovely
Awesome.
Mary Dallas. Thank you, lovely Lisa
Thank
Wilcox.
you for having us. Nice meeting you, Lisa Wilcox.
Charming Stephen.
Yeah.
Tune in tomorrow. We have Lisa Gigliotti
Marilyn
from
Gigliotti, moron.
Gigliotti from
Moron.
Clerks.
You just called her Lisa Gigliotti.
Well, okay, pardon my enunciation.
Well, Lisa and Marilyn. So
Blah,
totally
blah,
alike.
blah. Yes.
We will welcome Marilyn Gigliotti of Clerks tomorrow. We thank the lovely Mary Dallas.
Thank you for having me.
The utterly
Mary
charming
Dallas,
blue-eyed wonder
thank you.
known as Lisa Wilcox.
I'm Ship Brown.
Thank you, Lisa.
Stephen Joyner. Dan
Mary.
Yes, my
thank you
dear.
for your time. And Mary, you need another episode. You need to have it do more.
Oh.
Without
Yes,
me.
Yes.
more
Even
Barbies.
here.
Definitely.
You
Lisa.
two need to become friends.
Absolutely, honey. I'll find you on Facebook.
Love you all. Thank you
Yeah,
very much
you
for joining us
need
on the
a,
Jeff Sargent Show.
Alcoholic Barbie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good night, people, from Rancho Cucamonga.
Okay, the Barbie thing.
Yes.
Mary, we have to connect. All right, girlfriend.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm all in it. So,
Mention your acting studio.
ITM Acting Studio, the best acting class in the IE, guys.
Booyah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh.
I'm just going to do improv again with Lembeck.
Hell yeah.
Good morning. Getting my coffee now.
Thank you, Lisa. We
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Lisa.
Thank you, Steve.
thank you, Lisa. Thank you,
Steve.
Steve. Thank you. You've done so
Good
much
night.
for the show.
Bye, you
Bye,
guys.
gang. Thank you.
You
all.
are
Bye.
the
Thank you,
fifth
kids.
Beatle, Steve.
Oh, shiny shoes.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone. Very good news. Oh,
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
hasta la vista.
Hasta la pasta.
This on my trunk.
Another one in the can,
I
my
want to
man.
take pictures of you guys holding this up. Okay?
Oh, yeah, please. You
It's
gotta be-
time for, yeah, we're going to do
Because
a photo session.
I'm telling you, Vanessa Bednar and Derek Orr will love me for it.
Oh,
They're going to be really glad to cast me.
yeah, damn right we are. Let's do a 3-shot and then the whole group
Hey,
shot.
we could have
Get over here.
Oh, yes, yes.
Turn the man up.
maybe cameo shots with me and
Let me
Patrick.
shut things down. Give me a second.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. You take a picture of me. Oh,
Let me get my camera going.
tiny little Greek petite thing.
Tiny, thank you.
Oh.